the bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, June 30th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. A huge show today. We start off with CFL. We went 5-0 last week. Then we get into MLB. We have Daby Cab rolling with us. You know, we're a team here and a squad, and you know, we have cappers that are giving out their plays of the day, and then you know we have on Thursdays Jose and I giving out our action, and you know I was bad yesterday. I was bad. There was a couple good things done. You know, the Padres and Mets. I don't think I would have been on full game. I could have been on the Padres full game. I would have focused on first fives and those, you know, cashed. But to know to stay off of the Padres and Mets, I think was strong. I should have trusted the fade of Wainwright, which I didn't. The spreadsheet play of the day from Ron Crawford cashed. But the cappers in the chat continually succeed. We had Rob Free give out the Dodgers, Mets, Padres first five money line parlay at plus 230. Mets and Padres were a big part of that. And then the Dodgers was also the gift from our man TJ. So there was a lot of good that happened yesterday. I just was very pensive with my action for whatever reason. Now, I've already made 6 bets on today's MLB card. I've made 3 bets on the CFL card. That's all for tonight, and I've been talking about those bets throughout the week. So, you know, a disappointing day. You know, I was talking about Brandon Pfaadt yesterday, wanting to back Brandon Pfaadt, but I kept saying, look, I'm not going to pay any juice for this guy. I'm not going to pay any juice. I was like, can I pay minus 120? By the time the show's over, it was minus 130 on Brandon Pfaadt. And I was like, no, that's just too expensive. You know, we got to stick to some of these plans. People have been asking me, you know, are the Elks still good at plus 2.5 when all of us either have them at plus 4, plus 3.5? And the answer is no. You know, don't chase these lines. Don't chase lines. You know, if even at minus 110, you have to ask yourself, does this bet deserve vig? Do I deserve to be juiced on this action? Am I so confident in it that I will pay juice on this? And you have to ask yourself that. The implied probability of, you know, and you know, you can use an implied probability calculator or whatever you want, but is it worth the bet? You know, baseball really weighs on me. You know, it really weighs on me. And it's the amount of studying that can go into it. And, you know, the analytics are so deep that the last couple days, you know, have been really stressful. You know, last night, got the kids down at 8, and I just sat there, you know, all night and early into the morning, just sat there going over these games and going over the numbers and going over everything. And this shit is a battle, but it's a battle that we succeeded. And sometimes I need to go back, you know, to the second half of last year, remind myself, you know, went 50 games over 500 in the second half of the season. I have to remind myself that we got to keep fighting and keep battling and trust the process here. Great to see all you guys in the chat. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is in Baltimore minus 109. Let me copy and paste that right now. It's great because I'm on the first 5 in full game too. And at this point last night, I was going over all these spots that just didn't correlate enough. And I was like, you know what? This is close enough. Got some bets out there. So I moved on the Orioles first 5 full game. And in all honesty, it was more of a gut feel. But the market was moving very slightly in the Orioles direction. And it, you know, correlated with my X's and O's. And I love that Ron is on it as well. So I'm going to copy and paste this right here. Their Twins Orioles, I'm on it as well. We have Justin McElvey stacks play today is on Bo Bichette over 1.5 bases, minus 118. Let's get that up. Spenny came in and talked about the importance of Bassett not calling his own pitches, and he sure looked good yesterday. That was sure clear. Now, he did sort of battle through that first and second inning, but once he got rolling. So we need to keep to know. Also, Kirk is his battery, right? Kirk comes back from the IL. I think I got a little too caught up in what's happening against lefties. And if you're following the Giants today against the Mets, you have Carrasco, who struggles against righties this year. A very high OPS against righties. And the Giants don't have many of them, even though I think we all want to fade the Mets as much as possible. Let's get this stat. And I wanted to bet the Jays. Big Maple's coming back to Toronto. I don't really care about that storyline. I think Brios is shoving right now, and I wanted to back the Jays, but the market was moving really steadily towards Red Sox, so I had to stay off of that spot. Sharpie says, busy today. Be careful on any Dodgers bets. It's an under-type day, as they played late and had to travel from Colorado. This will be the fourth time in 2 years it's happened, and we haven't scored more than 2 in a game. And it's a real middling prospect. I spent a bunch of time on him today. Brandon Marsh, I believe his name is. I don't have it in front of me, but I have it in these fucking pages and pages of notes. But so I get it. It's a really interesting spot. And those of you that backed the Dodgers with confidence yesterday, it was great work. I don't know why I was worried about Emmett's first road start being in thin air. He looked quite good. Vitalis Crypto-ish there is Mr. Vape. He says, for today so far, I have Elks first half over 8.5. I'm looking forward to talk about that game. That'll be coming up here shortly. Mally Mal, there's our guy Rob Free in the house. Gave out that winning parlay. Also, back-to-back huge days for him and more. It says, let's continue to make withdrawals and not deposits, fellas. Shout out to everyone who tailed the parlay yesterday. Easy money. Mally Mal thanking Sharpie for the K prop, the Musgrove prop. It was a thing of beauty. There's Michael Johnson ready to get to work. And Mally Mal also thanking Rob Free for that Aces first half. It was an interesting spot there yesterday. We kept seeing everybody on the Liberty. I'm at this point, I just want to put all my energy into baseball and CFL, and I'm going to stay in my lane with WNBA. But, Aces wanted to show out, and they did. Troy Torrance says, feel a big Friday brewing. Mike M in the house. It's time to grind this card out. There's Moose Money. Great to see Moose Money. Spenny Penny Bombs. And Troy Torrance says, database play days, no doubt, are Chicago Cubs. Yeah, it's one of the few times where it's gone down a bit. We'll talk about that as the first MLB game on the board, but it's the first time where 90% of the tickets and 95% of the cash were on the side. And I was like, you know what? How do you not move on it here? And the reason why I didn't move on it last night was that Bet365 had Stroman listed. And I was like, well, I didn't know what was going on. And I would have only got 10 cents better. But it had Stroman listed last night. And even if it was Stroman, I was going to move. But we knew Stroman had the blister. Right now, it's 73% and 97% of the cash on the Cubs. But the market's just moving very quickly in the Chicago Cubs direction. And Spenny, there he is. Says, how about Bassett bounce back? Yeah, you called it. You called it. And it cost me money. Sean Pulliam in the house. Rocco Rogers. Chase Anderson earned run average over 3.5. That was a thing of beauty. Dodgers running line. Dodgers team total over 7. Series business ready to get to work. Andrew G. Joe Yurkowitz has got a banger of a pitcher prop based on traditional capping and advanced analytical capping. Line is moving quick, but I locked in. I love it. And Spenny saying Ohtani hooked us up in the 9th yesterday. It took a while for Ohtani to take care of business, but he did. He certainly did take care of business. Vitalis' line moved on me. He's on the under 9.5 in Nats Phillies. I find that a very interesting spot of Vitalis that I look forward to talk about. I look forward to breaking down this MLB card. I find this MLB card way more enjoyable to cap than what we've got Wednesday and Thursday. I found those as tough cards. We got a lot of spots here that I'm ready to attack and looking forward to attack. So I love it. I love it. Mally Mouse ended up adding Lance Lynn over 2.5 runs last night. Easy. Nice work there. North Ender says rolling hot first 5 under 5 in KC Cleveland. That upset me, that I just needed to see some sign from the books. But I was going over it all last night and for hours, just sitting there in the fucking dark, just going over all of the work, that we have to do to succeed and stuff. And I was like, I just got to stay. And then, what I did, which helped me, is I went over the second half of last year and just kind of went over it again. I was like, look, if you just stick to this, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. And so some cards will give you a lot of opportunities to move on. Some just won't, it's just, but goddamn, did I want that first 5 under 5 with Pieper and Greinke. All right, Brad Summersell. We got Billy of Brisbane in the house. Spenny says, Bassett career high 12 Ks with switch over letting catchers call the pitch his best decision he made all year. Mally Mouse says, Guardians was such a letdown last night. The only reason why that bothered me really was just because I have them in the division run. I didn't have them in action there. Saturated in the house says 90 degrees, no power, can't keep the bags of ice taped to his balls long enough. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Mally Mouse says, please stop letting the market keep you off winners to me. No, Mally Mouse, I will absolutely let the market keep me off winners because it's going to keep me off a lot of losers. And it kept me off the Padres and it kept me off the Mets. And we all saw what I did last year. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to let the market keep me off winners. And because the market's going to keep me off of more losers than the winners it keeps me off. And I'm going to trust this system. With the sample size was enormous last year. It was over 500 bets. And I succeeded in a big way. And I'm going to let the market keep me off winners because it's going to keep me off of more losers. So I'm not changing my shit. I'm not changing it. Some spots on the board, I will look. I went 13-3 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week. Nobody was saying it changed up your style. So, and I know you're only saying it because you want me to succeed. But look, I'm not going to change what we all saw have my best baseball season last year publicly. So the market is going to keep me off winners. It will. It's going to keep me off a lot of winners. It's going to keep me off a hell of a lot more losers, though. There's Dabby Cab in the house, ready to get to work with us. Abdi, ready to go. Reclaim James North, Ender, Tom Leach, Nasty Nate, ready to go. So it's a great group. Great group. Let's get to work here. Get to work. Rob Free says that the Guardians game was an absolute embarrassment. We have a great group. Steve G in the house, Brian Watson, Mr. Heat, Akbar Saloev, Dave Redling, Rich Homie. Rich Homie saying, if you've been riding the fish, let's keep it going. Marlins plus 1.5, minus 125 is nice, says Rich Homie. There's Joey Marinaccio, Stimmy OG. All right, let's get to work. And we go into CFL right off the hop. So our guy, Jose, has to be gone for about 45 minutes. He will be back. Let me see if this is all going to be manageable here for me. Let's go. All right, we're coming off a 5-0 week. I told you first 2 weeks that the losses, I had 2 team totals losses by a half point, lost some totals that I thought were the right side, but some interceptions in the end zones and things like that were costing me. And I showed out last week, and I want to show out again this week. So let's roll. Edmonton Elks at Ottawa Redblacks. We're at TD Place in Ottawa, Ontario. I went over the weather, but I don't have it up here, so I'll pull it up right now. I don't know why I didn't write it down. But here we go at game time this evening. It's about 76 Fahrenheit with 4-mile-per-hour winds. The showers are supposed to start late. They're supposed to start after the game. So that's the spot there. The Elks coming off a 43-31 loss at home to the Argos last Sunday. They're playing against a Redblacks team that has an enormous rest advantage, and that is tough. I don't love that we're in that situation. I guess you could say the Elks had 4 days off, had to travel, and that's very difficult. This line is just being hammered toward the Elks, so it's just pretty wild. Heritage is hanging a plus 1.5. Pinnacle still hanging that plus 2.5. I could have got a plus 4, but I was hesitant. I got the 3.5. Pinnacle still hanging the 2.5. That is juiced to the Redblacks. In fact, as I see it, of the trusted offshores, That's the only one hanging a 2, and Heritage has moved to 1.5, which is a big thing there. So Steve G asks a fair question. What is a red black? It's red and black. It's 2 colors. And I apologize for that answer. But we used to have 2 teams with the same name. And I wish we had that still. All right. I would not, personally, I would look at different ways to hammer this. I'm on the team total over 17.5. I told you even as of yesterday, that was over 19.5, and it was minus 138 to the over. Bet 365 still hanging the 2.5, and the team total is now at 20.5. Ooh, we beat that shit by 3 points. That was my favorite bet of all of them, was the Edmonton team total over 17.5. And then I'm on the over 42.5, which is still available if anybody wants it. We heard that this had gone down to 41.5. I think it was Billy Friedrich told us that. I see 42s on the board and a 41.5 at Bet Chris. I don't love seeing that. There's our guy BJ, 5 unit. He's cashed back-to-back 4-unit bets. BJ, you're running so hot. And he is on the Texas Rangers money line at minus 158. I would love to be able to bet the Astros. I just couldn't at this point, and I wanted to talk it out with you guys. Hearing you on the Rangers also will play a role in whether I could move in the Astros. I have a funny feeling about the Gray Wolf, but he was given the extra day of rest. But I look forward to talking about that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Slatsy says, with you on the 3.5, hate that Lewis is out, though. Eugene Lewis is a huge receiver, and he's out. But let's break this down further. Elks are also missing their linebacker, Luke Burton Cron. Also great to see you, Slatsy, my guy, and Topset, all you guys, Torrey Coker, Vipe. They're also missing offensive lineman Andrew Garnett with an abdominal injury. And that's a problem. Their offensive lines looked really bad, and the Redblacks' defensive pressure has been pretty good. Jarrett Dagy, sorry, I almost said that wrong. Jarrett Dagy will be starting at quarterback for the Elks. Bowling Green, 2018, West Virginia, 2019 to 2021. Then he transferred to Western Kentucky. And he looked pretty good there, with that wildly exciting offense. Then he played in 2022 for the Troy Trojans, which is where he spent most of his time. Where he spent his senior season. He threw for 163 yards after replacing Cornelius. That was garbage time yards. Both of these quarterbacks were delivering garbage time offense. So if you can say, well, I don't trust any of Dagy's offense, you could say the same thing about when Tyree Adams came in, for the Argos. So, I don't care that much. And then there was an 84-yard pass for Dagy that was, a fluky pass, 84-yard touchdown pass. That was pretty fluky there. So the Elks' offensive line's been bad. 12 sacks this season, a league worst pass blocking grade. It's a problem. And a lot of people think it will be very difficult for Dagy to take advantage of the weakness in Ottawa's defense, and that's their secondary. Their secondary is abysmal. They average the second fewest yards per play in the league. Who averages the fewest? Ottawa. Look, I get it. If you were breaking down all these stats, you'd be like, well, who's going to score points? But this is the CFL. You start at the 40-yard line. We have, huge fields, wide fields, and I think there's going to be offense. I think there's going to be enough offense to get over the number. We're talking about bad defensive teams. And look at the Elks. I mean, they're allowing 6.48 yards per play on defense. So, yes, the Redblacks have a big rest advantage. Yes, I love them in the early weeks, but I also like Chris Jones. I believe in what he's doing with this football team. And we have Tyree Adams starting at quarterback. He was the superstar at Western Carolina Catamounts. All-time leader in every statistical category there. Also finished 5th in program history in rushing yards. So he's a mobile quarterback. But this defense for Edmonton is really weak on the ground. I think that Tyree Adams is more than capable of helping move the ball on the ground against the Elks. The Redblacks got pressure against the Stamps. I can think they can get pressure against the Elks. But look at this. You have all these issues here in the secondary. Most importantly, Sherrod Baltimore out with a knee injury. So with all that said and done here, Fopatachi says, can Dagy be trusted after his performance in just one quarter? Schultz looking like an all-star coming in 2 weeks ago was trash last week. No, Dagy can't be trusted. No. But I think the Ottawa secondary is weak. I think Dagy gives them hope. And we saw last year the Elks could do nothing at home but kept covering on the road. A lot of us got in on the +3.5. I love the 17.5 team total. I can't wait to watch the game tonight. Tripling up for me, it's a big deal. And I'm going to have more money on this game than any baseball game, I expect. Unless I take the under in the Cubs game, then it will be tied. So there you go. 3 bets for me here. I'm on the over 42.5. Market moving towards the under. We've gone up against market moves throughout, and it's caused us no problems. Especially last week. And then the team total over 17.5. I kept pushing that to you guys throughout the week. And then the Elks +3.5. I love those spots. Okay, so let's talk about these next 2 games in CFL and then get into MLB. First off, the next game is Saturday, July 1st. Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Montreal Alouettes Percival Molson Memorial Stadium. First off, this total opened up at 48.5. Pinnacle has moved it slightly to the under here. Quite a bit, 8-cent move to the under. This was 49, and it's still 49 at Bet365, which does surprise me a little bit. I only see people on overs in this game, and I really want the under, but I've been hesitant enough to stay off of it. From a point spread side of things, this opened up at 5.5. It moved. It was at 6, and then yesterday at 3:13, it moved to 5.5. That's not the case at Bet365. It's at 6 -105. I didn't realize that the other books were hanging the 5.5. And look, I want the Alouettes, and I think I'm going to move on the Alouettes here for me. And Andrew G saying Dedman out for Ottawa too. That's huge for the return game. He's fastest wide receiver in the league. Here, I'd like to move on the Alouettes. Winnipeg comes in off the shocking 36 loss at home to BC last Thursday. And everybody's saying, revenge. Winnipeg's going to come back after that loss and be monsters. And I watched the interviews of the Bombers talking about what had happened, And look, 43.5 points per game and look dominant. And then they put up 235 yards and 6 points against the BC Lions, 8 first downs. Caleros, 191 passing yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. The Bombers also are going to be without defensive back Desmond Lawrence, and they have 8 players listed as questionable. And this is hugely important to see who's going to be in because they have Adam Biggle listed as questionable, but not injury related. We know that Dalton Schoen has the hip injury, is unlikely, and defensive back Demario Houston has a not injury related questionable spot as well. Jackson Jeffcoat with a calf injury. They have issues and injuries here. Andrew G says Bombers overvalued here, and I agree very, very much. Montreal and Toronto have both just been disrespected by the marketplace here. Montreal dominated 38-12 against Hamilton in the Ticats home opener in front of a sold-out crowd. They haven't allowed a touchdown this year. They're only allowing 24 total points. And they were talking all week about how angry Winnipeg's coming in, how we got to be ready for Winnipeg. This is the best team in the CFL that's coming off a loss. Like they know the situation. Fajardo looked excellent last week, 261 passing yards. And, Austin Mack, they have like just almost like the Lions. Now, maybe not quite as talented, but they have a deep wide receiving core. Austin Mack put up 120 receiving yards. Now, they're not going to have Deontay Evans. I wish they had him in there. He's their star defensive back. Hurts. But I still think the Alouettes are live here at 6.5. And the fact that Pinnacle hasn't moved it off the 5.5 tells me that they are live. Let's see. Did Chris move it off of 6? They didn't. They've just gone from 5 to 5.5. Interesting. Okay. So, but Pinnacle moved it off the 6 to 5.5. Look, I want the Alouettes. I want the Alouettes +6. I want the home team +6. And I expect to bet that. Reclaim James just took the Elks plus 3.5. And paid a little bit of juice. That's not too much here. Just to give you an idea, Reclaim James, if I wanted to do that here, that would cost me. Oh, they're not even letting me. Okay. They won't even let me move that. Okay. But yes, I'm going to be on the Alouettes plus 6. And I guess that means I would be on the Blue Bombers team total under. But I thought that was at 28.5 before, and I don't know if I want to double up here. So let's just grab that team total right now for the Bombers. It's 28.5. I'll think on that spot. All right, so we roll on. Fopatashi says Blue Bombers script, cover first half, don't cover full game. All right, so the Bombers team total under is going to be a question mark, but why wouldn't I? I think the Alouettes have a really strong defense. Now, of course, Deontay's not there, but we just saw what a really good defense did to them in the BC Lions. So the offensive line from the Bombers looked really vulnerable. I don't know if I'm going to double up, but I will be on the Alouettes plus 6. All right, here we go. BC Lions 3-0, 2-0 on the road at Toronto Argonauts, 2-0, 1-0 at home. We're at BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario. I did not give the weather in Montreal on Saturday night, and I apologize for that. So let's do that quickly. The Montreal weather here. There's storms on Saturday, but they come in, they go. It's not too big of a deal. Here we have a thunder. We got to keep an eye when the thunder showers and scattered thunder showers. So we just got to keep an eye out for that. But I like the Bombers team total under. I love betting big favorites team total unders if I like the dog. It's just a nice double up spot for me. And the more I talk about it, the more I want to drop it or bet it. So here we go. Then we have Monday. This is going. The reason why I probably am not going to move on this quite yet. We're going to be able to live bet this game. Now, I didn't use it in the advertising for the Monday Night Live show, but we're going to be able to live bet BC Lions, Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field. And I said after the Lions destroyed Winnipeg that I can't wait to fade them against Toronto, but the line opened up at 1.5. The market had an idea of, oh, shoot, I haven't been switching these games up. Sorry. So there was Winnipeg, Montreal. I apologize. And then now we're on BC, Toronto. Slatsy says thunder showers during the day, showers at night in Montreal. Yeah. Well, that will, if that's the case, and I'm not, it's questionable always with these weather reports in the summertime because they kind of come and go, but I want the Alouettes. I want that team total under, and I expect to move on that one. Here, I told everybody I wanted the Argos, but I thought we'd get a better price for the Argos. Now that better price is coming. This opened up at 1.5, and it's now at 3. So that better price is coming. And then also one of the problems with this spot, as we're just about to start MLB here, but the problem with this spot is we have a Argo quarterback in Chad Kelly, who it's already moved to 3.5 at Pinnacle. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a better number if we just are patient here. Wow, already moved to 3.5 at Pinnacle. Wow. Total wise here, this opened up at 47. It's now at 48. It's at 47.5 at Pinnacle, but I also have interest in the under here. With Chad Kelly, if you watch him, I think he looks really good and really strong and really sound. But if you look at his numbers, they're poor. His numbers aren't that good. The Lions coming off their most impressive victory in a long time. In a decade, it's been a long time. Vernon Adams Jr., 20 of 29, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also ran twice for 30 yards. Dominic Grimes was out, and Alexander Holland stepped up. He had 8 catches for 83 yards, touchdown. Lucky Whitehead was all over the field. And now Lucky Whitehead dealing with a hamstring issue. Justin McGinnis was even catching passes. And Andrew G says, Chad Kelly, our American friends know who that is. Yes, they do. Winnipeg, 6 points, 8 first downs. I said this defense was spectacular. 21 points so far, fewest in the league. They sacked Calero 7 times, and they're going to be all over Chad Kelly here. Keon Hatcher is hurt, and Dominic Grimes, both with foot injuries, but they are full participants in practice. Now it's Lucky Whitehead with the hamstring injury who's sitting out, as is Daquan Mazzell, but I think he will play. He's the running back who's looked very good. So their defense is healthy and ready to go. So Argo's coming off that 43-31 win at Edmonton. They were underdogs in week 1 against Ticats at home. A lot of people thought maybe the Elks could get their first win against them, and now, they're dogs again in week 3. Now, you could also say, look, they beat the Elks and the Tiger Cats. Those teams are 0-6, and that would be fair. And Kelly's not playing very well, really, if you look at his stats, although I think that he is. 58.7% completion rate, just 1 touchdown, 2 picks. They've allowed 45 points on the year, but so many of those points have come in garbage time. So I also need to figure out more about their injuries. Jordan Williams with a knee injury. They need him. Linebacker, defensive back Eric Sutton, wide receiver Cam Phillips, an offensive lineman Isaiah Cage are all hurt. But I want the Argos, and I want to see how high this goes. And I want the Argos in this spot. I think it's a letdown spot for the BC Lions. But at this point, when this show's over, I'm only going to move on the Alouettes +6 and the Blue Bombers team total under. Energy said Chad Kelly thinks he's Mike Vick out here running in touchdowns, and he looks tough, and he's taking big hits. All right, that is our CFL card. Again, I've been giving out the Elks team total over and the Edmonton Ottawa over 42.5 all week. I think I got in on Tuesday night, which was a little late. Could have got the 4. Lucas Ryan on BC Moneyline got -125. That was a great job, Lucas Ryan. You destroyed that market move. Great work. And then I'm going to be on Alouettes +6 and the Blue Bombers team total under. And Slatsy got Argos in at +3.5, says it could actually go higher. Yes, I'm going to wait. And again, we will live bet the Lions Argos game on Monday night from Monday Night Live. All right, let's move on to MLB. We have a big, juicy card. A lot of you guys talking about this Cubs line movement. It's monstrous. And Joe Yergin says the run line calculator is back up and running. Oh, that's great, because I even checked this morning and it wasn't. So that makes me very happy. Thank you for that, Joe. All right, and Reclaim James saying, go Elks. I love it. And Slatsy, I love that you got in on the Argos +3.5 as well. So I'm just going to wait on that one. But let's get to work in MLB. It was a disappointing day yesterday. 2-1. Disappointing. But last Thursday, Friday, and I don't, sometimes I need to remember the victories and the glory. Last Thursday and Friday, we went 13-3 in MLB. And we hit 10 in a row at one point. So, you just take what the league gives you. And I was really hesitant on Wednesday and Thursday, and it hurt me. But this Friday card, I absolutely love, and I'm ready to attack. Moose Money has action here on the Cleveland-Chicago game, and we have information here from Troy Torrance as well. So without further ado, let's bring on your first guest, your only guest here on our show today. Let's get this game up and at him. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, big star here at Pub Sports Radio, focusing on MLB as he was drafted in the majors, signed by a Major League Baseball team as well. And now we get to break down pitchers with him, which is hugely helpful. And he's having a very strong season overall. Please welcome Mr. Dabby Cab to the show. Dabby, how are you, my friend?
Good, Jimmy. Good, man. I'm shocked my record's 4-10 on here. I thought it was worse. I thought all 49 of my losses this season were on this show.
Well, I keep telling you that you are what your full record indicates, and the sample size is too small here on every second Friday and one Tuesday and a Thursday with Jose. So the sample size is too small. But I know how competitive you are. So
I'm going to take a chunk today out of it. That's what's going to happen.
I believe you. And you can tell everybody, because you put all your action out on Twitter, you can tell everybody your overall record, because that's what you truly are. So why don't you drop that right now?
66-49. I'm up 11 units on the season. I'm 99% sure. It's like 11.8 units on the season. So it's been a good season. And anybody that follows me on Twitter knows I put it out, recap it every day. Pretty much as soon as the game's over, I get it right up. I don't wait.
I love it. And I know that you will climb out of this. We just have here, of course, the main thing that we do, other than not sell you anything ever, is that we have just complete transparency and honesty with the cappers that are on this show. And so that's why it's not always pretty, but we just will always do that here for you guys. Let's get to work here. Tommy didn't just say that, saying taking over 17.5 outs for Steele. The odds for the Cubs to win are out of hand now. Rocco Rogers got in on the Cubs -1 at -130. That was pretty good. I had the problem last night with it still listed. Now I could have just made it action, of course, but it had Stroman listed, and I knew that Stroman was dealing with the blister, and I was like, I just want to make sure that this is what's happening here, and then finally they switched it to Steele here. So let's get to work here. 2:20 p.m. Eastern. So I didn't move on this until I don't know. I think late last night. I have to double check, or was it this morning? I think maybe it was this morning. Maybe it was actually it was. It was actually it was at 8 a.m. So that's how big this line moved in. I only missed it from -160 to -170. And it opened at Bet365 at -160. I know it opened much lower at other books, but I guess there was some concern over who would actually be pitching at some of these books, even though we all knew about the blister. So let's go into the line history and the weather first and foremost. There are a ton of pitchers throwing today that I've got their baseball reference up, so we'll be going over all of that. And God, do I really have to do? Sorry, I have so many things up here. Looks like I'm gonna have to really get these things back up. Here we go. No, they're all right here. Okay, so first off, weather here: 78 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour out to left field, gets up to 9.7 miles per hour. Ballpark PAL has Wrigley as pretty middling, plus 3% homers, minus 3% doubles and triples, and 0% overall. This was from earlier this morning, so I'm gonna change it. So now it's plus 4% homers, but that's the only thing that has changed there. Money line, this is just a monstrous move here. And I moved on it when there was 90% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on the Cubs. But look, all I want to know is that the books are concerned. That's if you show me that they're concerned, then I don't care. I'll be happy to be with the public. This opened up at Pinnacle at -136 yesterday at 5:40 p.m. And it's just being this forward motion towards the Cubs, now -192. Unbelievable. 56-cent move at Pinnacle. That's one of the biggest that we've seen this year for any favorite under -200. So that's huge. Total wise, and this was the question I had, was whether to make a move on this under. This opened up at 8.5, juice to the under, so much so that it moved to 8 at 8:54 a.m. So this opened at 8 a.m. at 8.5, moved to 8, but it's back at 8.5, and it's now juiced to the over. 10 cents of movement towards the over, which has me a little hesitant. Tongue Tied says, I'll take the Guardians at this price. Quantrill had a nice rehab start leading into this. That's fair at this price. I get it. Mike M says home faves off back-to-back losses with more than 5 hits, but less hits than their year-to-date average are 20-1 straight up, 17-0 to the under when their opponent scored 3 runs less last game. Cubs and under spots. Moose Money says Cleveland power struggles. I totally get Cubs as a side, but I expect good pitching here from both sides. So let's talk about Cal Quantrill here. So he went on the IL, and I always think when it's called inflammation that there's no injury. And I actually thought that there was no injury here with Quantrill. He was not looking good. His last 2 starts before going on the IL, 8 1/3, 12 hits, 14 earned runs. Now, no homers, but he was getting hit all over the field, 5 Ks and 5 walks. So he's been activated. It is a shoulder injury, and he did have a minor league rehab start on Sunday at AA Akron. 3 hits, 1 walk over 5 scoreless, 3 strikeouts. It was only 58 pitches. He has struggled on the road. 34 innings, 5.29 ERA, 273 opponent's batting average. Going up against Justin Steele, what he did in London, England was impressive. Do you want a pitcher after he's pitched in London, England, flying back? Maybe not, but I'm comfortable. That was a really impressive situation in an offensive
He's been
ballpark.
good all year.
He's been money. He's been absolute money. 42 innings at home, 2.57 ERA. He's allowed 1 home run at Wrigley over 42 innings, 244 opponent's batting average. The Guardians are hitting 244, 704 OPS versus lefties since June 1st. Cubs 237, 688. And the Guardians bullpen 2.95 ERA, Cubs 2.63 ERA since June 1st. Both bullpens have been so good, and it makes me want to move on the under. But we saw Clase be used yesterday and give up the winning runs for the Royals. So I don't know if he's going to be available today. And maybe I just sit here with what I have. Let's go to the cash flow here and then hand it over to Daby Cab. Do I have the? I have too many things up here. This is just ludicrous. I'll fix everything up here and get some tabs out of here. But cash-wise, 73% of the tickets and 96% of the cash are on the Cubs. We see concern in the marketplace. 53% of tickets, 92% of cash on the under, and we don't see the market moving towards the under. So I guess I'm going to have to stay off here on the total and just focus on the side. Take it away, Dabby Cab. Looks like we are all on the Cubs, but it's now getting to a price that I can understand where people are interested in the Guardians. Take it away, my man.
Yeah. Well, for me, I just get priced off. I don't get priced to the other side, but that's just me. I don't know. Like I said, Steele's been money this year. He's projected to have another good start here, and I don't see why he wouldn't. He's got the 2.62 ERA on the season. 2.2 ERA during his daytime starts in 2023. He doesn't give up the long ball. That's one thing that I really like about him. He's good at missing bats. He's got a real low home run rate. And the Cubs score runs for him. They're 7-0 in his starts where he gives up at least 4 runs or less. So they've been good for him. So I'm just going to say, like I said, he's been outstanding for most of the season. And Cleveland's offense, they don't have any plate discipline. I know they put up the 14 runs the other day, and that was a big outburst for them. But that's not a norm for them. This offense has been struggling all season. They've been frustrating to watch. Really, what I like is the under in this game. If I was to make a bet on it, maybe even the first 5 under. But I just don't know what I'm going to get out of Cal because he hasn't, like you said, he wasn't sharp when he was up. And the inflammation, usually for what that means for me, Jimmy, is like he's hurting, but there's no injury. Like his shoulder's sore, but there's no injury, like you said. So if there's no injury and he's sore, that's a shitty place to be in as a pitcher. I've been there myself. It's not fun.
Yeah. So just answer some questions from the chat. There's the numbers for the Cubs first righty since June 1st. And to answer Dave Redling's number or a question about the weather, it's 78 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour out to left field. And it gets up to 9.7. But Ballpark Pal, again, this is not just all weather. This is everything, included. Has plus 4% home runs, minus 3% doubles and triples, and 0% runs. I almost thought that the first 5 under is a hedge because how could I lose the first 5 minus a half on the Cubs? Well, if Quantrill is excellent, and if Quantrill's excellent, how often do we see Justin Steele get lit up? Very rarely. So then the first 5 under will hit. But I'm not going to do that here. Not with all this money coming in on the under and the market not moving. But I get it. And Ricky Bobby going first 5 over full game under because the bullpens have been so good. And Moose Money, Moose Money says if it's still sore, he'd be down doing some rehab. I'm betting that he feels good and will look more like the Cal we saw midway through the first half. That's all that.
Yeah, that's what I'd expect too. I was just referring to your comment on like what it was, and I'm just saying it sucks to have like a sore arm but not be injured. Like if there's nothing there that you can pinpoint what it is, it's just hurting. That's a shitty place to be.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And but he, that was when did he go on the IL? He went on the IL. I don't have it here, but his last start was May 30th. So he got some time off. People are asking about lineups. Yes, we have confirmed lineups. So for the Cubbies, Tauchman, Horner, Morel, Happ, Swanson, Bellinger. Bellinger looked good yesterday. Yan Gomes, Jared Young and Madrigal. And Jared Young, he could be a beast. We'll see. For Cleveland, Freeman, Rosario, Ramirez, Bell. Bell's been such a disappointment. Jimenez, Fry, Brennan, Straw, and Naylor. So, the big bat from Canada is not in the lineup here. So that's a pretty weak lineup from a possibly tired Guardians team. But no Josh Naylor there for Cleveland in the lineup, but the Bo Naylor is there. All right, so we'll move on. Let's move on. Vital says Cal Quantrill 2-8-1. So minus $545 in the first 5. Kenny V says this is a perfect game for a prop that he's been cashing maximum consecutive runs by either team 2 at plus 520. Wow, that's wild. No Quan either. Good call. Yeah, I should have realized that. No Quan either. And and Troy Torrance says no Quan is massive. All right. And Billy Friedrich says Bellinger's the only guy who historically hits Cal. Bellinger is looking really good right now. Seeing the ball clearly, hitting well, smart moves on the base paths. I like him. Dave Redling with Ramirez home run, and Billy Friedrich Gardenians first 5 under 1.5 for him at -118. All right, there you have it. And Jose Bouquet is back in action, which is wonderful. Thank you, Jose. That was fast, my man. All right, so let's move on. But I doubled up there. Cubs first 5 -1/2 at -120, and Cubs full game -1 at -126. Let's roll on. Next up, 5:10 p.m. Eastern. This was another spot where I had some interest in the Padres, even though they've been so bad. But I don't trust Graham Ashcraft, and I liken Graham Ashcraft's woes to the same as Alek Manoah. But the Jays have sent Alek Manoah elsewhere. The Reds are still throwing Ashcraft out there every 5 days, and he's getting lit up and smoked. Joe Yurkovich on the Padres first 3 team total over 1.5. Yes, I have them on the -1, Troy. So first 5 -1/2 and the -1 at -126. Sorry if I didn't mention that, but it's all tweeted out there. And I got -170 and +115 on those 2 spots. But Justin McElvey on the Padres over at 5.5. And Brown Hughes says he's all over the public over here at 10.5 -120. I looked at that very closely, and I remember feeling that it didn't correlate, and I stayed off. But let's go right to all of that right now. We'll start with the weather here in Cincinnati. Great American Ballpark, 90 Fahrenheit, 6.3 miles per hour, right to left to the left field pole pretty much. And then it becomes out to left field, but it dies down to 5.7, and it's hot. 90 feels like 94. We have plus 25% home runs and plus 15% runs, plus 4% doubles and triples, plus 3% singles. So let's go over to the line history then. Next up for us, we'll start with this total. This total is now at 11. So it opened up at 10.5, and it got to 11. I don't know what my concern was exactly, but it got to 11. I do remember now. The over 10.5 -120 I had set up, and I hadn't logged in. And as soon as I logged in, it was 11, and I forget it was -105 or -110. But now I remember that all happening and then not moving on it at 11.
Man, I put a fucking live bet in on a game, $125. This was like yesterday, and I fucking put it in, and I thought it went through. Team hit a 3-run bomb. I was cheering, and I looked, and that shit didn't go through.
It's
sickening, man.
It is a pain. It is and that's what happened. And I remember because Pinnacle had moved it to 11 and Bet365 hadn't yet, and I tried to take advantage of it, but they actually had moved it. Okay, so there's the total. Let's go into the money line here for this one. We have the Padres opening up at -126. They got up to -137 at 1:45 in the morning, and they're just at -127 now. So there's been a 1 cent move to the Padres and a half-run move to the over. We go over to the cash flow on this. Total-wise here, 74% of tickets, 72% cash on the over. Maybe I should just move on it at 11. Then for the money line, 49% of the tickets and 65% of the cash on the Reds, but the market is not moving towards the Cincinnati Reds. Okay. Sorry, Mike. I thought you were giving us the one play of the day. Rocco Rogers is on Ashcraft ERA over 2.5. Padres team total over 3.5. Robert Franklin says the over in the Reds. Joe Yurkovich says Ashcraft last 8 starts, 12.82 ERA, 2.21 WHIP, 3 homers per 9. So Seth Lugo, 3-4, 4.01 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. His last start was at home versus Nationals, and it wasn't very good. 5 innings, 3 earned runs. But he got through it, allowing 7 hits. On the road, he's been better than he's been at home. 1-2 with a 3.21 ERA, 245 opponent's batting average. Ashcraft looks awful. That last start, 4 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 homers. I mean, he's just getting lit up and smoked. That was 7-6 loss at home versus Atlanta. Those were extremely offensive conditions that day, if you remember. And at home, he's got a 9.17 ERA. He's allowed 9 homers over 36 1/3 and a 3.22 opponent's batting average. And he's not getting strikeouts either. And Matty Ice. There he is, Matty Ice. Look at that. My guy, Matty Ice. Baltimore Orioles. That means that Matty Ice is on the Orioles. Ron Crawford's on the Orioles. I'm on the Orioles. First 5 in full game.
There we go.
That's exciting. Great to see Matty Ice back in action. We'll talk about spreadsheet and taint here shortly when we get over to that spot. Spenny Penny Bombs, Juan Soto home run. Oh, this is for the Padres game, of course. Plus 330 RBI plus 140. Tatis home run plus 310 RBI plus 110. Steer home run over on the red side plus 550 and 185 RBI. And Ellie Dela Cruz stolen base and RBI. Spenny all over this one.
Oh, I know I liked it, Spinny. I don't want to say who it was and get it wrong, but I know he hit his home run prop yesterday. So shout out to him. I saw it on Twitter.
Let's get this right here. Pop that here. Okay. Dave Redling says Padres trash plus Ashcroft draft equals. Joe Yurkovich says Ashcroft must be faded. Don't try and catch a falling machete. I agree with that. So Padres first righty since June 1st, 251, 728 OPS. Reds first righties, 263, 802 OPS. Both bullpens have been okay, even though if you're using your eye test, you think that the Padres bullpen's absolute trash. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Padres, Reds.
Yeah, not to reiterate too much about how shitty Ashcraft is, but his last start was not good. 6 runs, 10 hits in the 4 innings against the Braves. He got the loss there. His last 3 outings have been horrible this month. He's given up 19 runs in 10 2/3 innings, 7.17 ERA, a 1.67 WHIP, which is, excuse me, terrible. I mean, having almost 2 people on base per inning is just unacceptable. 3-6 record in 69 innings pitched. His best performance of the season was against the Padres. Shout out to our guy Moose putting that in the chat. He held them to just 1 run in 6 innings, and that was in a game the Reds won earlier in the season. But that was when I was expecting a little bit more from Ashcraft here. I don't really expect anything out of him anymore. I've lost that. Early on the season, I know Jose was talking about his metrics being off the chart and stuff like that, and I paid attention. It was interesting, but I don't know. I just don't think he's got it. He's a little wild for me. And, the Padres, what they do have is outstanding pitching. The hitting hasn't been there for him. But Seth Lugo here, he allowed just 4 runs in his last 2 outings, which was 10 innings. He's not somebody who's really going to go super deep into ball games. But if he's given up, 2 runs a game in 10 innings in his last 2 starts, that's not too bad here. He did concede 1 run in 6 innings, and a 7-1 win is in his only start against the Reds. So both of these pitchers have seen these teams this year. I think the Padres are going to make a little noise in this game. I hate saying this because I've said it, and I keep looking like a jackass every time I say it. But I think the Padres are going to turn it around. But I mean, when? It's now or never. I supported your future with them. I support the Padres. Fuck, this team makes me sick, man. But I think today is a good spot for them. I think they're gonna put some runs on the board here.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Again, this reminds me of the Fott situation. Are you gonna pay Vig to back the San Diego Padres right now?
I'm not.
I can't. It's just like with Fott. When the show's over, I was like, am I just going to sit here and take a minus 130 on the first 5 with Fott just because I think he's going to be better after coming back from the minors? It's the exact same situation here. In saying that, the first 5 total I find very interesting, and I thought that it was 6.5 last night. It's 6 right now. Just to the under slightly, and was it never 6.5? Was I just tripping on that? Let's just go to Pinnacle here. Yeah, Pinnacle opened at 6.5. It was 6.5 last night. Strange that this has dropped to 6.
So Moose, you could tell that, man. This clubhouses are so important. You want to talk about a fun clubhouse? I would love to be in the Reds clubhouse right now. You want to talk about not a fun clubhouse? The Padres. You saw what fucking. What he said in the interview, right? Bogarts was up there talking about how they can't be losing to shitty teams like the Nationals or something like that. And now him and Manny are going back and forth at it. That's a toxic environment.
Yeah, and Manny's always battled with Tatis as well. I listened to a radio interview with the Reds beat writer. And he says that he's been in the clubhouse, and he said it's the best clubhouse he's been since he's been working for the Reds. He's like they love being around each other, and that when you win way more than you expect to win, that everybody's just and they've been losing for so long, like that. It's just the funnest. And then he
gives
was
me
saying,
chills thinking about it. Like I get chills thinking about being in that clubhouse. It's so much. You got young players, like you just said, winning more than that shit is electric. It's on fire right now. Look at their fans they feel it too. Everything. It's systemic, man.
And while that was going on, the comparison in clubhouses wasn't with the wasn't with the Padres, even though you nailed it with that comparison, but it was actually with the Blue Jays and how the Blue Jays clubhouse is not a good one right now. And a lot of the reason is just because they're way under expectations. And there's been people talking about how they've taken the fun away from Vladdy Guerrero this year by taking the jacket away and all that stuff. So all that was being talked about as well. But the Reds clubhouse supposedly is just magic right now. Look, I knew that the first 5 interested me last night. I knew it was at 6.5. I felt like that was too high. Now that it's dropped to 6, I'm like, well, why did it drop? Even though I felt like it was too high. Oh, don't say that, Berkey. Don't say that. Berkey says Bobo wants to leave too. Don't say that, Berkey. Can't hear that. Troy says I'm probably going to end up on the Reds. Padres are a bunch of cocky fucks. Don't let that get into it, the capping though. I mean, look, I don't like Manny Machado. You know, remember when he said, what could I be upset about? I'm Manny fucking Machado.
Fuck Manny Machado. He cost me $4,000 last year. I know you remember that.
I do. I do remember that. Look,
he could have done anything. Fucking full count. Could have taken a ball. Could have fucking just hit a ground ball. Anything. All he had to do is put the ball in play. Bases loaded, full count. Fuck Manny Machado.
Yeah, no, I was watching. Okay, so with all that being said, Mike M says, love the Reds at this price. They're just making too much cash for backers. You know, it's possibly now, like when we look at, so we have 50-50 on the tickets, but 65% of the cash on the Reds and the market's not moving. Why is it not moving? And it's pretty easy to say, well, you know, it's not moving because of Ashcraft, and that's it. So I'm going to stay off of this spot. If I had a free play, I'd probably take the first 5 over 6. But again, Ashcraft was in a ridiculously offensive situation weather-wise, way worse than today against Atlanta in his last start. This is probably easier. And there's Swiss Horton in the house. Millsy, sorry, man. Just my head's in the capping. And what did Millsy want me to say? What?
Man, my chats have been so weird lately. Like, I'm looking to see it because I don't see it. It's been like not showing my own comments. I don't know.
Well, I had somebody tell me this yesterday that he was like, why weren't you saying my comments in the Red Sox game? I was like, and then I went back and watched it and there were no comments. Millsy, you do not have a comment in the chat.
It's not showing everything for some reason. And if you hit the button on YouTube, I know this is off topic, but if you hit the little button like right now, it's showing top messages.
Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Blanco over 4.5 Ks. Hitting 100 clip Astros bet your lunch money. Okay, there. Sorry, Millsy.
Where is it? What do you say, Astros?
Yeah. And
I like runs in that game.
I like the Astros too, but BJ's betting 2,500 on the Rangers tonight.
Probably.
Sorry, I'll put that here. Oh, sorry, we got a little overwhelmed because we have not seen Matty Ice in a long time. So I got a little overwhelmed, a little exciting about Matty Ice, and then Millsy saying Pablo Lopez biggest bet over 6.5 Ks. Millsy, come on, we love you, man, and don't forget about the Millsy podcast with Billy Brisbane and Big Show picks. Okay, I've got that here. Pablo Lopez, that is the game that we're all over here. So let me just get that here above the Guardians game. Oh, no, sorry, above the Twins game with the Orioles. Here we go. All right, so we are off this spot. You're off it as well?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Let's roll on. Next up for us, sorry, got too many pages of notes here, is 6:05 p.m. Eastern. Washington Nationals 32-48, 19-21 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies 43-37, 21-14 at home. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Already heard from Vitalis. He moved on the under 9.5 in this baseball game. Let's pull up the line history here. You know, it's I was like really frustrated with the card yesterday, and I felt like a little handcuffed because of the what I'm trying to do, where everything correlates, and And I was pretty upset capping the card, and I'm starting to feel the joy come back in a little bit. This is a wide open card for us to move on. It's Friday. Great to have you with us, Dabby Cab. Great to see the chat. Let's make some fucking money, man. Let's go. So this total opened up here with Gray and Sanchez. It opened up at 9. And again, there was some rumors that Wheeler could be starting here, but he's not. At Sanchez, this total's gone from opened up at 9 within 2 minutes. Oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Within about 45 minutes, it went to 9.5. But there was an immediate move to the over at 9, and it stayed at 9.5. So it's sitting here at 9.5. The under is at plus 102. So that's a pretty big move to the over. Let's go over to the money line here in Washington, Philadelphia. This opened up here at minus 174 for Philly. It's now minus 176. So no movement. Now, look, I want Josiah Gray. I want Josiah Gray on the road. But if you start going back through his splits, and I wasn't even looking at batter versus pitcher because, actually MLB.com didn't even have a pitcher listed for the Nats for some reason. So I couldn't even go through the actual batter versus pitcher, even though there's other sites to do that at. But I went over his splits this year and last year, and he just gets touched up by these Philadelphia Phillies. And when you look at the plus opportunity to back Josiah Gray over Christopher Sanchez, I get it. Why wouldn't you want to take Gray, especially after that last start? But again, that last start was at the Padres, and the Padres are doing squad ass nothing. 84 Fahrenheit, 8.6 miles per hour out to center, dies down to 8.1 miles an hour. A ballpark pal has Citizens Bank at plus 25% home runs, plus 10% runs. So there's 3 spots on the board that there's a double-digit plus offensive spot. Billy Friedrich says 84 plate appearances, 9 home runs by Phillies hitters historically versus Gray. Spenny Pennybomb says Castellanos 11 plate appearances versus Gray, 4 hits, 3 of them have gone yardstick. Rocco Rogers is on the Nats first 5 at plus 150. Look, I get it. I don't know how anybody wouldn't think about that right away. But Billy Friedrich says he can't trust Josiah Gray here. BJ says value on Nationals in this spot. Rocco saying the Nats are live here. Joe Yurkovich on the Nats first 5 plus a half at plus 106. I don't know if the plus a half is really needed here with the volatility and the offensive conditions, but look at that. I mean, Joe's getting a plus number on a plus a half, so I can completely understand it. All right, so let's go over the line history here. We talked about the total and the side. Let's see what the cash flow is. We have 79% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the Phillies, and the line's not moving. I mean, that's screaming to me that the Nationals are live. You have 83% of the tickets and the dreaded 99% of the cash on the over. So let's then talk about Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez is not a young pitcher coming up. This is I guess I think of him as being older, but I guess he's only 26. I think of him being older. This guy's been around for a long time. I mean, the Rays signed him when he was 17 years old in 2014. I thought he was way older, but I mean, I guess he gets signed at 17. So here we go at Lehigh Valley this year. He's throwing 49 and 2/3 in AAA, 1.45 WHIP, 4.35 ERA. He's not being very good. He barely played in the Dominican Winter League. Was out of the pen, so he went 1 inning apiece 7 times. So he was not really thought of highly down, in his country's winter league. Last year, he was in the show. He had a 5.63 ERA, 15 games, started 3 with a 1.38 WHIP. And in AAA, he was quite good. That's what got him the opportunity. The year before, as a 24-year-old, he got 7 games in the show and did not look good. His best year was in Lehigh Valley in 2022. So the Nats are not smashing lefties right now. 246, 693 OPS, and the Phillies are hitting righties 259, 739 OPS. So the question is, what do you get out of Josiah Gray? We all know what he's been doing on the road. He's been making everybody money. A 2.48 ERA. He's only allowed 5 home runs over 58 innings with a 233 opponent's batting average. Chris Sanchez coming off of a home start, so he gets back-to-back home starts. That should help him in his last start. It was versus the Mets. He went 5 innings with 3 runs, 4 Ks, and 0 walks. Take it away here. I'm very curious about your thoughts on Josiah Gray in the situation, because we know if you look at some splits, he looks like a monster. If you look at other splits, you want to fade him. Take it away.
He's been one of those guys this year, right? I always look to possibly get behind him when he's on the mound because I like his stuff, but you're right. Some of the stuff doesn't always fit. Nationals, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. They've done well offensively in that stretch. They put up 23 runs in their last 4 games. I think they're going to play well offensively in this one. I know that of late, the sample size isn't as good for them, but they do hit left-handed pitching well over the whole season. And Sanchez has struggled on the mound at home. He gave up 6 runs in his 2 home starts. He gave up 6 runs in his last 2 starts against the Nationals. I think he's going to have a little bit of a tough time slowing them down here. And the Phillies also have been hot. If you were, it was Jose's show where I was talking about it. Shout out Jose. I think this Phillies team is a team to watch. I think they're going to get hot. I think they're going to stay hot and turn it on the second half of this season. But their last 4 home games, they've lost 3 of their last 4 home games. But like I said, both teams are playing well offensively at this moment. Phillies scored 14 runs in their last 3 home games. I think they'll put up a little bit on Gray. I think the Nationals, though, are the side. If I'm looking at a side, what I really probably would look at is the first 5 over in this game, especially with the metrics you gave me on the park. And I might get there to this one. So this might be one that I add. I have 3 bets right now. I've already tweeted them out. I might add this one right here.
And what is the angle, the exact angle that you would bet here if you were to add it?
I think the Nationals get to Sanchez, and with how hot the Phillies are, I still expect at least 2 or 3 runs out of them. I just don't see either of these pitchers going through 5 innings without at least giving up 2 or 3 runs.
Slatsy letting us know that Matt Duchene's been bought out by Nashville. Have you seen the amount of cuts Nashville's made? Nashville's going to be thought to be the worst team in the league this year, and I bet you they are much better than everyone expects with their young talent. Okay.
Well, I was going to say that I don't mean to simplify it like that because, I look at all the numbers and I look at everything. But really, when it comes down to totals, Jimmy, I look at it and I'm like, what do I expect this pitcher to do? Like, how many runs do I expect? I don't think either of these guys, if either of them have a quality start, I'd be impressed this game. I think Josiah Gray is the starter that has more of an opportunity to have a quality start out of the 2. But I just don't – I really could see neither of them having one here. I could see both pitchers giving up 3 or 4 runs easily.
Yeah, I get it, but I do fear Josiah Gray. I know what he's capable of.
He's the one. Yep.
I do fear him, but the Phillies have got to him. Again, when you see these pitchers that are improving every year, do you really trust the historical data? We do have the one start. He's faced the Phillies, and they got to him with a couple jacks. And this is very offensive weather. With all that being said, I'm just going to not move. But I'm telling you, I would, if I had a free play. I mean, one thing that we talk about a lot is implied probability. And here, when I look at this spot with Nationals at plus 155 against the Phillies, I wouldn't want the 155. I'd prefer the 150 on the first 5. I'm surprised there's not a bigger difference between the first 5 and the full game, but at least there's something. And then I would think, well, what is the implied probability here for the Nats first 5? And we have that at plus 150. So, will you cash the Nats first 5 4 out of every 10 times? And I guess so. Moose Money saying grade 2 volatile, definitely a live type pitcher because when he's on, he's on. And Professor Chris giving us his model has 8.89 total runs in this game. All right, so I'm off. I'm off this spot. Good luck for all you guys that have moved on it. And let's move on to the next spot on the board. And this actually does make me a little nervous because we're all on it, and that makes me nervous. But the corner of spreadsheet and Taint Boulevard is a good boulevard to be on. Millsy has given us Pablo Lopez over 6.5 Ks, which makes me a little nervous. And Pablo Lopez makes me a little nervous in this bet. But I think that we're going to see Kramer get better and better as the season goes on. So let's talk about this spot. Minnesota Twins at Baltimore Orioles. BJ says, I think there's value on the Twins in this spot. Look, Pablo Lopez is more than capable of pitching well on the road. If you look at his splits, he's been great on the road this year. He's been bad at home. So on the road, 1-3 because the Twins suck, but he's got a 2.94 ERA, 60 strikeouts to 11 walks with 7 home runs allowed. But I moved on the Orioles. First 5 in full game was the first bets that I made. I just wanted to fire away here. And BJ says, I think Kramer can get touched. There's no doubt that he can get touched. His last start was a road start in Seattle. Seattle's sticks aren't too strong, but he was good enough for me. 3 earned runs over 7 innings, quality start. And we also have our guys, specialty plays both on this spot. So first, back in business for us. It's been too long since I've had the opportunity to play this. We have our guy, Matty Ice. Taint play of the day is the Baltimore Orioles. Taint is back, baby. Taint is back. Taint is back. Spreadsheet play of the day coming off a winner. Now 27-20, 57.4% plus 6.76 units ROI plus 14.3% average line minus 103. Ron Crawford also on the Baltimore Orioles here. Speaking of some of our cappers that we love dearly, also the man is back in our chat after a year of teaching.
That's on this game too?
No, he's not on this game.
Oh.
I guess that's Jose making those sound effects. We have Moose saying here, Kramer 1 start with over 3 runs allowed in his last 10 starts. So let's break this one down. And goddamn, do I hope there's been market movement towards these goddamn Orioles. So first off, the total, this opened up at 8.5, juice to the under, and it got to 9 at 4:43 a.m. So after about 11 hours, it got to 9, lasted there for about an hour and a half, got back to 8.5. Then it got back up to 9 again at 11:01. So there is some ideas that there will be, it's a 10-cent move to the over. So with a 10-cent move to the over, let's take a look at the weather in Baltimore. 84 Fahrenheit, 9.6 miles per hour out to left field. 9.6 to 7.9. So it dips a little bit. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks of the Oriole Park at Charm City. Plus 17% home runs, plus 9% runs. So offense expected here with these two pitchers that are good. Let's take a look at the money line. And good God, do I want to see movement? Please show me movement towards the Orioles. Please, please. And we have the Orioles 2 cents of movement. And this is when I moved on them. So this opened up at minus 108. It was just kind of middling. And then it went down to minus 101 at 7:30. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't bet it. And then at 10:02, it moved up to minus 110. And I was like, okay, that's enough for me. I know it's not the move from the opening line, but there's been 9 cents of movement until I was nervous. And now it's just back at the minus 110. So we have a 2 cent move to the Orioles and a move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow then here. 2 cent move to the Orioles and a move to the over. 57% of the tickets and 54% of the cash are on the Baltimore Orioles. So, that's what you expect is the market not to move. 87% of the tickets and 95% of the cash is on the over. So why isn't there a bigger move than 10 cents? Mally Mal, Sharpies show the Balking Dead is at 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Joe Yurkovich says the Twins team just as an enigma as Boston. Can't get a read on them at all. Another winning day for DC Capper. I love seeing that. Vital says Kramer in first 5, 9, 5, and 2, 64.3% win rate. Johnny Gunn says, got to be Twins or pass here. Can't be on the public side with the market moving to the Twinkies. I use 60% as the barometer. So this does not concern me. I was worried. I thought maybe I would be concerned here, but okay. We just had some movement here. As soon as I said that, now they're over 60. 63% of the tickets, 53% of the cash. That was just 57. So okay, now that makes me a little nervous. Now hopefully the line keeps moving. And Gift the Cartel says overs 4-0 in Lopez last 4 starts during game 1 of a series. Overs 5-0 in Orioles last 5 during game 1 of a series. Rocco Rogers looking at Pablo over 2.5 earned runs here. So a quick setup before we hand it over to Dabby Cab. We've already heard Millsy's biggest bet of the day is on Pablo Lopez over 6.5 Ks. He's coming off a 3-2 loss at Detroit, 3 earned runs in 6 innings, 10 Ks, 1 walk. He looked very good. The Twins are not hitting righties at all. 234, 694 OPS. Orioles versus righties, 261, 762 OPS. The Twins bullpen has been quite a bit better than the Orioles bullpen since June 1st, but I don't really believe that. And the Rocco Baldelli, after the sweep by the Braves, wouldn't let his players talk to the media. Kept them in. And you know what? I don't care. I think part of me, this is part of the reason why I'm on it, and it's not numbers related. I see this Twins team continuing to lose. I don't think they're that good. That's why I got in on the Guardians at plus 380. It was even money yesterday to win the division.
Their offense is terrible.
And that's because Buxton's hurt all the time. Correa's got an elephant foot. So you put that shit together, and Max Kepler's got migraines. I mean, these guys are just not the same players that we remember them. If Buxton was healthy, he'd be a perennial MVP. So what? Lewis comes in, and we're supposed to think, oh, he can turn everything around. I just don't buy it. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. We're all on the Orioles. Makes me a little nervous, but love seeing a correlation with spreadsheet and taint. What's your plan, Twins, Orioles?
Yeah, it's always different being on, bets with our cappers versus like just being on with the public. You know what I mean? This because we're not the public. So shout out to those guys. Just talking about Kramer a bit, this is his 17th start this season. He's 8-3 with a 4.50 ERA, 1.364 WHIP, 22 walks, 77 strikeouts. He's gone for 88 innings this season. His last game was Saturday night against the Mariners. He went 7 innings. He 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Baltimore went on to win that game in extra innings, 6-4. Obviously, he didn't get the win there. But in his last 3 starts, Kramer's been outstanding. 2-0 with 3 ERA, a 1.06 WHIP, 3 walks on the 18 strikeouts, which you like to see, with over 18 innings of work. And his only career start against the Twins goes back all the way to May 25th, 2021. So I'm not even really looking into that. He did all right in that start, but like I said, I'm not worried about that. My thing is Minnesota, and I just said it, they're struggling to put runs on the board. And I think it's going to continue to struggle. Like you said, I think that's a good angle to have. Just 11 runs in their last 5 games, which is absolutely atrocious. And after the start of the season, Lopez has been, far from good. He's just got 1 win in his last 10 starts coming into this game here. So I just don't see it. And furthermore, on the Twins, they're 17-23 on the road this season. Everything about this screams Baltimore. The only thing that kind of trips me out a little bit is I probably would put this line around minus 140, which is a big ass difference from minus 115. So I haven't bet this one, but I would look Baltimore too.
Johnny Gunn says, I know we all have different openers, but the 3 sites I use have O's opener at minus 125, minus 120. Who knows when they open the game? I can tell you if you just give me, if it's an offshore, I can tell you when they opened it, Johnny Guns. And I can hook you up with the site that can tell you. So why don't we just go to Bet Online here. Bet Online. Bet Online's moved this to minus 1. So they opened at minus 125, Bet Online. Opened at minus 125 at 2:18 p.m. And within 30 minutes, this was down to minus 107. So an 18-cent move towards the Minnesota Twins. Since then, we're back at minus 114. So one thing that I kind of hoped would explain this, and this makes me nervous, but was just that, Pablo Lopez, we know a lot of people don't know Kramer, and Kramer's had 1 year last year that was good. And so I just thought that maybe because it's Lopez on the one side, that maybe that would be part of the reason. But look, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that Pablo Lopez, shoves here. But
it's like going against Sandy. Like, I feel like that's the best example you can make. Like, you don't want to go against Sandy just remembering like what he can do, but based on what he has done this season, it's not there.
And Rocco says, I thought this price was fishy, but he's seen many people on the Twins. And I thought that this was a perfect mix at 57.43. I was like, well, 57% of the cash. But now but now 63 is a little much. That makes me a little nervous. Look, I'm a little nervous about it, but whatever. I think the Orioles are a better baseball team, and this was not as much. This was me just, at least the market wasn't taking me off of it. If we saw 24% of the tickets and 68% of the cash on the Twins, we wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be on the next game because I would be off of it. And I know that Spreadsheet and Taint wouldn't be off of it because they trust their numbers and their capping. So it is what it is. Joe Yerry's looking at Twins first five as interesting. Gifted Cartel says, why pick sides when the over is clear? It is very offensive weather, and I can understand anybody moving on the over. But it was 99%, now 96%, and only a 10-cent move. It's just not quite enough for me, personally. Okay, so you are off this spot, Dabby.
Yeah, okay. I'm off.
All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Brewers at Pittsburgh Pirates. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I can get rid of some of these. So we have now discussed Christopher Sanchez, so I can get him gone here. But the next man that needs to be brought up is Osvaldo Bido, whom at least I watched one Pittsburgh podcast just on Bido. I want to watch it for about 10 minutes while they were talking about Bido. And this was before Bido was called up, and they were not excited about Bido. He was not a highly thought of pitcher in the system. And this was back when Bido came up when the Pirates were in first place in the NL Central. But I've liked what I've seen from Osvaldo Bido. Let's pull up his story, I call it. 27-year-old Osvaldo Bido here. And he was in AAA Indianapolis this year, and he was okay. 4.55 ERA, 1.30 whip. But unlike Christopher Sanchez, he was in the Dominican Winter League over the winter and was very good. He was very good. Started 6 games down there, 2.95 ERA, 1.21 whip. And, was maybe very good's a little much because 14 strikeouts, 9 walks, but he looked good. He didn't allow a lot of runs, and he looked good and was used. You go back to 2022, he had the exact same numbers that he has in AAA at Indianapolis as he has in 2023. His numbers have improved since he's come up to the show. He's throwing 15 2/3, sitting with 6 earned runs, 18 Ks, 5 walks. You got to like that. The whip is a little higher than you'd probably want it. So tell me he didn't just say that, taking Bido over 4.5 Ks. Rocco Rogers taking Bido over 4.5 Ks. Moose money is on the Brewers full game money line and run line. So, and the Moose money says Bido's giving up hits and walks, not a great combo. The model has the Pirates at even money here. Wow. Okay, well, let's discuss this line history and weather here at PNC Park. We'll start with the weather at PNC Park. 84 Fahrenheit, 7.8 miles per hour, right to left, sort of to the left field pole. It dies down to 5.6. Not a big deal here wind-wise. Go to Ballpark Pal and see what their thoughts are here. They have plus 1% homers, plus 17% doubles and triples, and plus 9% runs for this Bido Peralta start. I tell you, I don't trust Peralta under any circumstances with the way he's been throwing this year, and he's historically been one of my favorite pitchers. So let's take a look at the line history for this one. This one opened up at plus 125 for the Pirates, now plus 120. So 5 cents of movement to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's see what they're saying about this total. This total opened up at 8.5. It looks like there's been very little movement. And that is the case. So this opened up yesterday at 5:43 p.m. at 8.5 minus 103 down there. There's been a 4 cent move to the over and a 5 or 6 cent move to the Pirates. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have 54% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wow. That's some big bets on the Pirates with the line up. Well, it's moved 5 cents. Then we have 57% of tickets, 64% of cash on the under 8.5. Peralta, 4.65 ERA, 1.33 whip, 89 Ks and 33 walks. He's allowed 14 jacks and 81 in the third. On the road, he's been bad. 5.94 ERA, 285 opponent's batting average. He's allowed 7 jacks and just 33 in the third. His last start was at the Guardians. Wasn't so bad. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 3 walks. Both teams are not hitting righties. Both have the exact same OPS, 643 OPS versus righties since June 1st. And the Brewers bullpen has been much, much better than the Pirates bullpen. Take it away here. I could pull it up at some different books, Mally Mal, but I don't have the market movement on it. Take it away, and I'll do that for you here in a second, Mally. But take it away.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hit these guys since you were giving us the 411. Maybe hit these real quick. Mike M said Willie Contreras plus 170. If you're only playing one prop today, it should be this one.
The ribeye play today. Thank you.
So there you go. And then Moose said he's on money line and run line with the Brewers. If I missed anybody else on this one, my bad. But shout out to those two guys. Really, and I'll just get to this and then I'll talk about it. I would probably look under, but I don't trust Peralta, like you said. I would probably look maybe even a first 5 under here in this game. Brewers have won 4 of their last 6 games, but they've lost 5 of their last 8 road games. And offensively, they've struggled. They've only put up 9 runs in their last 3 road games. And I really think their offensive struggles continue here, which is why I'd probably look under instead of a side. This Beto, like you said, they didn't expect much out of him. So it's interesting to see, he's only given up 6 runs in his first 3 starts. So he's done great. I expect him to be able to keep Milwaukee in check, because this isn't really a team that scares me from top to bottom. The Pirates have struggled a little bit this month too. Recent games have been better for them. 3 of their last 5 they've won. And they played a little better offensively in that stretch. They put up 16 runs in their last 3 home games. But they've had trouble against righties this year and really this month in general, like you were saying. I just don't trust Peralta. If I trusted Peralta just a little bit more, I would definitely be on that first 5 over, or first 5 under, excuse me. But he's been even worse on the road where he's given up 15 runs in his last 4 road starts. So I just worry that he has a hard time slowing the Pirates down. So maybe I'd look Pirates at plus money as a side. But really, I like the first 5 under in this game.
Loose money saying Peralta showing improved stuff, 45.3 whiff rate on his slider.
I'm 1-0 when I backed him this year, so I've gotten lucky because I hit him at the right time. But I don't know if I'm ready to get behind him again yet.
Yeah, I like Peralta.
I do too.
And so watching him struggle this year is being surprising. I think it was 2 years ago, might have been 3 years ago, but 2 or 3 years ago, I said to Jose, I'm like, look, I think Peralta is the best pitcher on Milwaukee Brewers. And as soon as he said that, he started pitching so well. But here, yeah, he's been better. He just faced these Pirates, 2 starts back, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks, 3 walks. Just faced them. I wonder, did Beto then face the Brew Crew? Because I didn't have that in my notes. I wonder if
I didn't have that in my notes either, but hold on, let me look.
I got it up here too, and he did not. I like Beto's stuff. They just saw Peralta. Okay, Rocco says slight movement back to the O's, minus 120 now. I love seeing that.
Beto, I'll say one thing though about Beto. If you paid attention, like his numbers can be a little bit deceiving. Like in his last start, he only gave up 2 runs, but he gave up 9 hits in that 5 2/3 innings, which is a lot more than you would like to see. So maybe he's been, a little, I don't want to say lucky, but able to pitch out of sticky situations that, he might not consistently be able to get out of.
I guess I'm going to have to stay off of this one. I kind of lean towards Beto, but I guess I'm going to have to stay off of this one. 55% of tickets, 64% of cash on the under here. Our guy, Professor Chris, moving with the Pirates. We have people on either side here. Mike Wilkerson liking that Twins team total over in that spot. So Vitalis says, love the Rays with McClanahan. Why is the line so slow or low and the Sharps on the other way?
His numbers suggest regression, and I think people have been betting on that against the Padres too when he was going against Darvish not long ago.
I think also
sometimes analytics are just that. They're just fucking numbers. Like I don't personally expect McClanahan to regress. Sorry, I had to take over.
Oh no, that's great. No, I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's why you're here. I also think Bryce Miller is part of the equation here. I think Bryce Miller at home is capable of shoving. Look, I doubled up on that game. First 3 under 2.5 and first 5 under 4. So
on that one.
I'm right there, but we'll get to that. That's the last game on the card. The ribeye play of the day is in. William Contreras at plus 170. Okay, let's move on. We move on to 7 to 7 p.m. Eastern, Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario. The Big Maple, James Paxton, coming back to the stadium where he threw his no-hitter many years ago. And he's pitching very well. I mean, Jose gave us the heads up here. He said, look, his velocity is very high. Way higher than you guys remember. And he came in throwing 96, and he's been good. 3-1, 3.19 ERA, 1.02 whip. In saying that, look, I think that the Red Sox could get swept here and will become immediate sellers. And so that made me want to find a way to get on the Jays, but, the market just wasn't correlating with me. Justin McElvey, his stacks play today is on Bobo over 1.5 bases, and Joe Yurkovich loving Pirates as a home dog plus 125. I get it, but I'm off that spot. So let's bring in the ringer here for us. A star of Say Hey plays of the day, a disgruntled young gentleman. He came so close to the black, and we've gone in the opposite direction, but we all believe in him. And that's all he needs to know is that we believe in him. I expect him to get in the black before the season concludes. Nasty Nate says Red Sox smashers. Jacqueline in the house. Please welcome Jose Bouquet to the show. Jose, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. I hope you can hear me well and everything. But yeah, doing all right. You're going to have a better day than yesterday. It's not going to be very difficult, but it's going to be a fun day of baseball here. Dabby, it's nice to see you as always.
Hi, Jose.
I changed up my vibes. I did my work at a different place. I'm at Southtown tonight. Hopefully that changes up the vibes for the picks as well.
Get out in the world. It's good for you. Touch the grass. I see you got some sun. I'm proud of you, Jose. You're going to kill it today.
I don't like
Yeah, we believe in you here at Pub Sports, Jose. Everybody but Barry Smith.
I in my anger yesterday, I will admit, for the first time, I was just seething angry last night, and I was just like, fucking Barry Smith. I fucking hate that guy. And I was just so angry last night. And Barry's name did come across my head there. So shout out to Barry.
Yeah, shout out to Barry. Hey, Barry gave us the Royals money line.
Hey, I can't talk shit to Barry. Barry's what can I say? I'm the fucking slapdick.
No, you're not a slapdick, and I don't ever
Barry
like
Smith.
that.
The ending of that show was shit, but that was a good show. That's the show Barry.
Oh, I don't watch any.
Yeah, I'm about to say Jimmy doesn't know anything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. Well, right. I'm just saying I caught it.
Oh yeah, remember Moose Barry McCockner? We had the capper named Barry McCockner. But let's get back to focus here. Paxton versus Barrios. I'm with Moose. Moose says really want to take the Jays here, but Paxton's looks so good. But how much longer until his arm starts hurting again? It's not that. It wasn't that. I mean, Paxton has looked good. Who's the crybaby pussy? That's me. And who's the whole clown? Oh no, that's not. That's a pitcher. Who is the whole clown? That's none of us, right?
I don't know. I don't think it was anyone.
Yeah, it wasn't us. We're not whole clown. It was a picture from yesterday. I could find it if I went over the pictures from yesterday. But okay, let's get to work here. Let's pull up the first off. Roof will be open. I have no idea. Like I've been outside.
I like how you looked outside. You just like
I have no idea. Is it smoky outside? I don't know. Fuck do I know? You think I ever get a chance to go out fucking side?
Yeah, see, why do we need to touch grass? We can just stay inside. The inside is good. We can just gamble all day.
No, I am stressed out. I'm so
yeah.
goddamn stressed out. Like this is just baseball's getting to me. Really got to me yesterday.
Sun literally like helps you like feel better and will take stress away from you. Like the vitamin D in it literally helps you.
Yeah, no, I get it. 70 Fahrenheit in Toronto, 8.2 miles per hour right to left. Very slightly
it's
up.
raining, by the way.
Sorry?
Berkey said it's raining, so close.
Oh, it's raining right now. There's supposed to be a little bit of rain between 3 and 4, I thought. I was Andrew D just at Rogers last weekend, and that was nice. 12-1 victory. We'll be able to talk about...
were at the Rogers Center, Jimmy. We were at the Rogers Center enjoying.
Oh God, that's great. Mike M says the Crybaby Pussy play today is coming soon, and I'm excited about that. Excited about the Crybaby Pussy play today. Because Rick J, look, aren't we allowed to like not be on the same side and talk about it? I don't know why he got so angry. He's still friends with Jose. He still goes to Jose's show, but like I don't understand why I can't just not agree with somebody's pick and then I'm a fucking.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just
well, Jimmy. I don't know if you noticed this, but sometimes when people are on the other side of you, you get a little perturbed. Sometimes that happens.
Jose doesn't like it when I'm on the other side of him on his show. He always.
That's not true. You just make fun of my bets all the time, Dabby Cab. That's what you do. You just come on the show and say, "Oh, these fucking bets are gonna lose. You fucking loser."
So. Literally, have never used an accent like that or said that.
All right. Yeah, and I don't get mad when people are on the other side. I mean, are you kidding me? Why would I get mad?
A little perturbed. Yeah,
I don't. It makes it more enjoyable. We're not a bunch of yes men over here. But let's get back to Red Sox, Blue Jays here. The total opened up at 9, and there's been a legit move to the under. So much. Oh, God, I didn't realize that. So there's been a 12-cent move to the under, but this went up to 9.5 at midnight. This was at 9.5 from midnight till 1:47 a.m. I did not know that. It was also at 9.5 until 7:30 this morning. God, I didn't. I've always thought this was at 9. So we have a 12-cent move to the under, but there was a point where the books were so concerned that they moved it up a half run. That's wild. Let's take a look at the money line here for this one. We have Barrios and the Jays with a big move towards the Red Sox. You don't see it here. You see a 1 cent move to the Red Sox at Pinnacle because they opened it at 5:42 p.m. But I was I spent all of the last 48 hours just staring at these computers, the odds and all this bullshit. And look at Bet Online. Bet Online opened this with the Red Sox as a big dog.
Move chair. This
opened up at minus 151 for the Jays. 10 minutes after that, there was a 10-cent move to the Red Sox and another 4-cent move. Then Pinnacle came out with their line. So they watched what happened at Bet Online. So at Bet Online, there was a big move, 15-cent move towards the Red Sox. So we have no depending on how you look at it. Look, I don't want to say enough of this, but let's just take a look at the cash flow, and you guys can use that information however you please. 22% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on the Boston Red Sox. 66% of the tickets and 87% of cash on the under. Why on earth did it have to go up to 9.5 a few different times? So this is clear sharp money on the Boston Red Sox and Big Maple, who's been much better at home. Maybe a much better is a little too harsh or extreme. We'll let Jose touch on that. But his numbers on the road are not nearly as good as they are at home. 4.10 ERA, but 208 opponents batting average. Maybe it's just the earned runs. 5 home runs allowed in 26 in the third. When overall in the year, he's only allowed 6 home runs. So he's only allowed 1 home run at home and 5 on the road. Coming off a 5-4 loss at the White Sox where he went 4 innings, allowed a solo shot, 3 Ks, no walks. Barrios coming off a 7-3 win at home over Oakland. He looked okay. He's been really good at home this year, though. 2.48 ERA, 36 Ks, 9 walks, 4 home runs, allowed in 36 and third with 221 points batting average. Red Sox 251, 717 versus righties. The Blue Jays are actually hitting lefties. We're not hitting righties with much of anything but lefties. 271, 781 OPS, and both bullpens have almost the exact same numbers. Take it away for us, Jose, your Red Sox in action. What's your plan?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was saying in the chat how the Red Sox only scored 4 runs against the Marlins in their whole series. Yeah, it was very frustrating. And you guys were mentioning in the chat that Paxton has a little bit of a knee issue. But I don't anticipate it affecting him too much because this is the Red Sox golden goose for for the rest of the season. Well, I should say till the trade deadline. James Paxton's 100% going to get traded. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. I hope it's to the Cincinnati Reds personally, but we'll see.
Rangers.
No, thank God. There's nothing for me there. But like the chat saying, Mike M 1-12 versus the AL East are the Blue Jays this year. The Red Sox swept them even, and it makes it difficult for me to pick a side here, especially because Jose Barrios is just the worst. I think he's not good, but he's at home here. He's pitched well against the Red Sox last year, got crushed against them this year, of course, at Boston, so not really surprised there. I kind of was just with everyone else, Jim. First 5 under 5, minus 120. I still have question marks there because it feels like every time I bet under 5 in the first 5, I just fucking lose. It's the most annoying thing ever. I don't know what it is, but I definitely lean under here. The Red Sox offense has been horrific. I don't trust the Blue Jays offense against lefties full season. They're 15th, 103 weighted runs created plus. Last 3 weeks, 126 and 129 plate appearances. That's third best, so it's pretty surprising how good they've been. But I believe in my man, Big Maple, James Paxton, coming back home, going to pitch in Canada, all that whole thing. So I like the first 5 under here. I just need to figure out if I'm going to make it official or not.
Well, let's hear what Dabby thinks about Big Maple and Barrios in this spot. Take it away.
Yeah, this is a Barrios 17th start of the season. You're seeing a lot of pitchers hit that number right there. He's 8-5 with 3.6 ERA, a 1.22 WHIP, 28 walks and 87 strikeouts and 95 innings of work this season. So he's been a workhorse this year for the Blue Jays. Excuse me. His last start, he got the win against the A's at home, 6 innings. He gave up 3 runs. Only 2 of them were earned, on 6 hits with 2 walks. His last 3 starts, which is what you'll hear me when I cap baseball with the pitcher. I talk about their last 3 starts. That's always the what I want to look at. I mean, I'll look at their full season also, but where they're at for their last 3 starts is important to me. He's 2-1 with a 3.57 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP. 4 walks with 17 strikeouts, so you like to see that. 17 2/3 innings of work. So, yeah, he's been good. I'm not going to go over his numbers again with the Red Sox unless, everybody wants me to, but Jose kind of touched on that. Both teams have had their ups and downs this season, but I agree. I think the Red Sox are going to continue to struggle. They've really struggled putting games in the win column lately. Paxton is their bright spot here, pitching. Like Jose said, I do agree with that. And he's probably the reason why I'm not on the Blue Jays here because everything else kind of leans me towards the Blue Jays, especially at home. Barrios has been good at the Rogers Center. His career has been better there, obviously, too. He's 4-1 right now with the 2.4 ERA and 6 starts this season. It's just a spot where I think the Blue Jays, there's a reason why they're minus 140.
Yeah, and as Mike M said, 1-13 versus the AL East this year, atrocious. Our guy Creekman looking at the first 5 over in this spot. And Rob Free says, never bet the Blue Jays with confidence. That cold streak can happen any game. Yeah, we all think that if we can sweep the Red Sox, and this is just we all just sports radio in Toronto, that they'll start selling immediately. But sharp action clearly on Paxton, and I guess that I'd almost prefer not to listen to any sports shows. Get in my head everything I had. I listened to the Bassett thing, and then I was in my head and listened to this thing about us sweeping the Red Sox. But look, I'm off the spot. I don't want to back the Red Sox here, and I don't want to get all fucking romantic about Big Maple coming back to Canada. Look, he's from Vancouver, BC. What is that? 3,000 miles away. So,
you and him grew up together. You guys grew up together, Jimmy.
No, he was in Richmond. So no, I was on the North Shore, man. I was
Capital, Virginia.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so Chris Comte says, "True, the Jays will get you right in the old prison pocket when you least expect it."
Yeah, I'll move officially on that first 5 under 5 minus 120. I'll be the slapdick here. But yeah, that'll be a fun day. And by the way, Connor Mack joining us today at Say Hey Plays. We'll have some plays official here. I've got at least 4 written down right now, 2 that I've tweeted out. So it'll be a good day nonetheless. And I always seem to have good days with Connor Mack on the show. So shout out to Connor.
First 5 under, did you tweet that out?
No, under 5. I have it at our friends at Bet Online, as always.
And what's the juice there?
Minus 120.
The first 5 under, so there's minus 115 at Heritage, minus 119 at Pinnacle. That's a good sign. Minus 114 at my bookie.
Jose, when is our baseball game and when is the football game that we're doing? Because everybody in the chat, anybody that can make it needs to show up.
Baseball game, by the way, I was completely wrong about the baseball game. It's September 18th is when Red Sox.
What the fuck, man?
September 18th.
You keep pushing it back a month every month.
I don't create the schedule, Cab. The baseball schedule is that. So we'll be together for Red Sox Rangers September 18th. And then not first weekend. I forget what it is already. It's like September 9th, second weekend. I guess.
Aren't they back to back?
Seems like it, yeah. September 9th, I believe, here is UTSA Texas State. Daby Cab will be here, and he'll be filming some tailgate stuff. I'll be at the tailgate in full wedding attire. I will probably be belligerent at that game as well. And who knows? Maybe that'll be the day of my first fight as well, because I fucking can't stand Texas State fans. So that'll be a great time.
Don't get in a fight because you're going to be really drunk. It's not a good time to get in a fight.
Mike, I've noticed this, what Mike was saying. I noticed this, and I've kept it under wraps, but I thought about it a few times. Said, did anyone else notice that Jose was so close to the back? Then he announced his upcoming nuptials.
That's what happens, you know.
Okay, but we got to keep rolling. Jose. Great work. Good luck. First 5 under 5 at minus 114 available at Heritage, and get that cash, my friend.
You.
And jump on if you have another play. Sure. Callous Tits Jose is what Joe Yurkovich is calling him. Also, we've been talking here, Dabby and I and a few other cappers about a contest that we would like to have. Where we each put in $1,000. We rent a house in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we go up against each other. And I think that I figured out. I was trying to figure. I needed one more thing to kind of come clear to me to how we could pull it off, and I think that I've got that figured out. So we're hoping to announce that some point, and that will be open to almost anybody, like any of our pub guys that are in the chat that are, a part of our chat, that support our shows, they can come in against us. And
have we decided what season you want to do it during? Like, so we know what we're going to be gambling on?
I think it should end on a football Sunday.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think it should end on a football Sunday.
I love that. Sunday. I love that.
It's just it looks like we're gonna break it down more, but just a capping contest. Either and you make 5 to 10 bets at $100 a pop. There'll be real bets at the casino, so you'll have the ticket and you'll have to put the ticket in before at some. Well, we'll figure all that stuff out, but looks like we're gonna do a contest against each other. But we're talking about more. But I think I've figured out the way in, but. Just wanted to kind of drop that on you guys because it will be open to any of our colleagues.
It's going to be a fucking blast. I can just tell everybody that right now. If you're able to make it, show up. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool idea. I like it. Nasty Nate down. It'll be at least a K. At least everybody have to put up at least a K. Could be more, but won't be any less than that, right? We're not just going to fucking we're gonna film it, Lucas, of course.
And if you just want to come hang out but you don't want to put the 1,000 down, you're still more than welcome to come. Just you won't be in the contest.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, San Francisco Giants 45-36, 22-17 on the road at New York Mets 36-45, 18-18 at home. I love seeing the Mets 9 games under 500. Dennis Garcia often does this with sports across the board, but any team that makes the most exciting player moves in the offseason, he fades their season win total, and he has great success doing that. It would have been beautiful here because he would have been fading the Mets and the Padres. Alex Cobb coming back from his oblique issue. It wasn't too big of an issue. He was only gone for the 15 days on the IL. He did have a rehab start Saturday at Single A San Jose. 9 strikeouts over 3 2/3. A mild left oblique strain is what they're calling Cobb. A Creekman, 20 minutes from Biloxi. I love it. So Carrasco on the other side, a big question mark. Just never know if he can keep his shit together. 6.19 ERA, 1.56 WHIP, 11 home runs he's allowed in 48 innings. His last start, 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 7-6 losses to the Phillies. At home this year, he's thrown 18 and 2/3 innings at Citi Field. He's allowed 17 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 6 home runs, and opponents are hitting 289 off of him. Now, the Mets aren't hitting 229, 699 OPS versus righties. Giants versus righties, 248, 735. Giants bullpen, 2.66 ERA. Mets bullpen, 4.45 ERA. Again, that's from June 1st. So let's talk about this spot and hand it over to our guy, Dabber Cadabra. So first off, the weather in New York, 77 Fahrenheit, 9.9 miles per hour to left center. Dies down to 8. We have Ballpark Pal plus 10% home runs, but minus 8% doubles and triples, minus 6% singles, and minus 3% runs. Let's go over the line history here. Get both of these windows up. So here, first off, money line, we have, not on Pinnacle. Here, money line, we have the Giants. And I thought about the Giants. The Giants opening up minus 113. They're now minus 126. So 13 cents of movement to the Giants. And then from the total here, we have this opening up here we go, opening up at 9, juice to the under. It was moving towards the under, and then it flipped. It flipped at midnight. At midnight, there was a 14-cent move to the over. Then it moved to 9.5 at 2:30 in the morning. At that point, from 2:30 to 2:45, that 9.5 started getting bet to the under, and at 3 a.m. they moved it back to 9. Then at 6 a.m. it moved to 8.5. So clearly the market all over the map here on what's going to bang out. Right now, though, there's been no movement from the opening line. Let's go over to the cash flow here on this one. And this is 28% of the tickets and 49% of the cash on the Mets. So it's 50-50 cash-wise, but the market's moving towards the Giants. 61% of tickets and 88% of cash on the over, but we saw an 8.5 drop. Moose Money says, for me, Carrasco's slider is the key. Throwing the slider at 7% lower rate than last year still has similar metrics. When Carrasco uses his 3 pitches, he's been better, but when he turns into a 2-pitch pitcher, he gets touched. So here is, for me, Carrasco can't get righties out. And so they're hitting a really high OPS. I don't have the splits in front of me, but I like something like 890, 900 OPS. And then you go right up to the lineup, and where are the Giants righty bats that scare you? This should actually be a good opportunity for him. You have Lamont Wade, who's been spectacular leading off a lefty. Jock Peterson with, all their power, a lefty. So you have Estrada, who's been good at the 2-hole. You have J.D. Davis. The catcher Bailey's a switch hitter, and then Mato is turning the lineup over. But there are just not enough righties to scare me here in this lineup. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Giants, Mets.
The one thing we haven't touched on is technically we've hit game-wise, we've hit the halfway point of the season. I know it's not all-star break just yet, but we've actually hit the halfway point of the season, so we're turning this over. This is a time where you look, shout out to Nutflush, because he was kind of referring to the Reds and the Giants as the same, a team with a lot of young talent. This is a team where those locker rooms that we were talking about, or time of year when those locker rooms that we were talking about become very fucking important. Some teams are just ready for the break, ready to take a break, ready for the fucking season to be over already. And it's not even close to being over, while as other teams are just now gaining momentum. And the Mets have struggled lately, losing 6 of their last 8 overall when playing at home, which is just terrible, which is the only place they've really won this season with any consistency. And you look at what San Francisco has done lately. They've been playing outstanding in the last 3 weeks. They've won 13 of their last 16 on the road. They've won 10 of their last 11 during June. They're 7-3 of their last 10 played. This team has just been on fire. Not a team that I really want to go against. And Carrasco, you look at what he's been doing. He struggled in the first half of the season. He's been a little bit better lately, but he's allowed 4 more runs in how many? I had this written down wrong. Sorry, I'm not even going to finish that stat. But in his 10 starts at home, he's allowed 11 home runs. So he's been touched up for the long ball here at home. I would just probably look Giants here, honestly.
I get it, but the 13-3 is a little different because they've lost 3 of 4. So they had that huge win streak. So initially,
true,
I want to put my foot on the throat of the Mets, and I just don't think this is the perfect team to do it with. Rocco Rogers says Giants first 5 -120. Trust Cobb. I like Cobb, but I prefer him at home. Cobb on the road this year in 41 innings, 4.61 ERA. Opponents are hitting 300 off of him.
It's so fun with baseball how we can because what you said is so important, right? And it takes what I said and just turns it. And I mean, both are important, but it's so interesting,
and
how much there is to it.
And both are completely true and important to note, so you can kind of adjust. There's so many numbers of baseball, you can adjust them to what you want. What I want is to not be involved. I initially wanted the Giants. I want to fade Carrasco against teams that have righties that I think are monsters. That's what I want to do against Carrasco. And so, if we look at what are the teams that have lit Carrasco up this year. So let's just very, very quickly here. We have and then we'll move on. But Carrasco, so against righties, right? Wow, they're even better, harder than I thought. Sorry, righties are hitting a 973 OPS, 299 with a 973 OPS against them. So what are the teams that have hurt them the most? And I guess you go to the Cardinals, the Marlins, the Braves. The Braves get to everybody. So that's all. I'm just off this spot. Wash Redskin though. San Francisco money line Mets team total under. And Joe Yeager says the price is about right. There's my guy Parlangel in the house. Says he'll be in Phoenix this weekend for another basketball tournament with his boy AJ. Wish you luck. What a guy. What a great dad you are, Parlangel. But also, what a kid AJ is. That sounds like a lot of fun.
You can play, man. He's posted some videos. That kid's got a good swing and he throws well too.
Yeah, I would really hope to get the opportunity to do the same with Carter. It's fun watching you and AJ run. It's so cool seeing you guys in Cooperstown. Respect. Okay, let's roll on. So nothing for us in Giants. Mets, 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Miami Marlins at Atlanta Braves. We're in Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. We have Brian Hoeing going against Michael Soroka. This is a fascinating pitching matchup. It's one of those pitching matchups that you want to spend an hour on, and I may have. So let's start with the weather at Truist Park here in Atlanta. 79 Fahrenheit, 6.5 miles per hour right to left. It dies down to 4.0 miles per hour. Let's go to Ballpark Pals, and they have plus 5% homers, minus 4% doubles and triples, plus 3% runs overall. Let's go over to the line history here. For this one, we have Soroka and the Braves. Oh, I'm very interested in your thoughts on Soroka. Do we not think Soroka is pitching, Jose? Is that it?
I had it as I didn't think he was, no. So I was just looking at that. I had it as a Schuster again.
Okay, it's not Schuster. I think it's Soroka. Let's see what.
So I capped this game with a different pitcher on the mound.
Oh, it's him. No, sorry, it is Soroka. It's being confirmed. Soroka is pitching. Good, because I did a ton of work on Soroka. Why don't you just kind of pull up some stuff on Soroka while I set this up, because I'm very interested in your thoughts on the pitcher. He's Calgary Canadian kid. So Braves opening up minus 186 or now minus 181. So 5-cent move towards the Marlins here. And then from the total, where the hell is it? Here we go. The total here. So we have 5-cent move to the Marlins, and this total opened up at 9.5 at 9:39 this morning, because I guess we were waiting for Soroka to be announced. Then it moved to 10:12 a.m. and it stayed there until 10:37 when it dropped back to 9.5, up to 10, 9.5 to 10's now juiced to the under. So we have a move to the Marlins and a move to the over. Let's see what the cash flow is for this one. Money line wise, 59% of the tickets, 58% of cash on the Marlins. Market moving towards them. 76% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the over. 76 and 91 is wild to me because when did this move back to 9.5? At 11:34 a.m. Obviously all this money had already come in on the over. That's very, very, very interesting. So let's talk about Hoeing here. He started 2 games. I think he's pitched in, I don't know. I want to say 8, but he started his last 2. And he's looked very good. Hasn't allowed an earned run. Only allowed 3 hits, but they've been at home. Now he goes out to Truist Park against the most dangerous offense in the league. He's been great this year. 2.31 ERA, only allowed 2 home runs. And Moose Money saying Hoeing not expected to get stretched out, so it'll be a bullpen day, a bullpen that's been quite good of late. 3.43 ERA since June 1st. Let's go to Soroka. 2015 first-round draft pick. Was a huge part of this team before injuries messed with him. So he looked awful in 2 starts. Couldn't get strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, 6 walks, 8.38 ERA, 1.86 whip, sent to the minors. And in his last start, he looked very good in Gwinnett. He has a 1.42 ERA in 19 innings. That's 3 starts in the minors, 18 strikeouts in 19 innings. So, with all that being said, I don't want my affinity for Soroka to get involved in this. And I think it is. I want Soroka to be a part of this rotation. I cheer for him.
His only real sample size is in 2019.
And he was awesome.
Yeah, he was great in 2019.
I mean, then he got hurt. I mean, that's just... I don't know. Take it away. I guess I think that the Braves are too big of a favorite here for me to really want to get involved. But Robert Franklin says he's a Braves fan. He's on Marlins' first 5. Says was rooting for Soroka to get back, but his control's been all over the place. LJ is on a rise over 1.5 bases at -112, batting .468 in division. Reclaim James says Braves rake right-handers, 310, 944 OPS since June 1st. Take it away for us here, Dabby, Marlins Braves.
Yeah, the only struggle with this Marlins team is they don't have a lot. They don't have much pop throughout their lineup anywhere, really. Only 2 hitters on this team have 10 or more home runs. And only 3 have 100 total bases or more. This Marlins team, as good as they're playing and as much fun as it's been pitching that's led them there. Yeah, and I just don't think the Braves are the team that you're going to win a game against with pitching, especially not with Hoeing on the mound. You look at what he's done this year. He hasn't started a lot of games, like you said, but he's only given up 10 runs in 35 innings pitched, 29 strikeouts over that time. He's got a decent expected opponent slugging percentage with the 5.0 barrel percentage, which isn't something I usually look at, but I got it here. He's got an expected opponent ERA of 3.61, and opponents have been making weak contact against him. But like I said, the Braves aren't the one, not here. And I don't see the Marlins winning a shootout, so I would look Braves here. I still wouldn't worry about it.
I would too. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, I'm not betting it. I'm just giving what my cap would be, I guess, is what I'd say.
It's too bad. I would like to.
I said, I've got 3 bets today, and for me, that's I might add to it. I don't force it. It's I gave you heard my record earlier. It's not. I don't have a ton of bets. Like on average, like a little more than 1, maybe 2 or 3 a day.
Do what's working for you. It's -142 on the -1 line. I'm off. Joe Ursis can't fade either team here. And Moose Money says got to be a wait and see on Soroka. He did come off his best start in the minors. So, and I don't want my fandom to get in the way of any of this bullshit. Ken Mizrahi said 2 times recently that the Marlins were 10 plus games over 500. They won the World Series both times. The issue here, Ken, is Yuri Perez. Will he be pitching for the Marlins in late September? Or will they say this is the most valuable piece that we've had since Fernandez, and we're going to shut him down? I don't know what the answer to that is. Joe Yurkovich looking at Braves team total under 5.5. There's our guy DX Filer in the house. All right, Mally leading dog first 5. Let's move on. Next up for us is the Astros Texas Rangers. And this is, so many cappers in the chat, you feel like because you cap with them every day. And we've been watching BJ here, for a while. And he is running with a ton of confidence, seeing the board clearly. And we've watched him, especially in the NBA playoffs, we watched his unit size or the amount of his unit size 500 a bet, but you watched the amount of units he was betting on the plays rise. The last 2 days, he's had 4 unit bets and he's cashed them both. And here he is, the biggest bet of the month, Texas Rangers, 5 units. 5 units.
Hell yeah.
And Jose saying that Perez has already hit his career high in innings pitched, by the way.
That means he putting like $5,000 on it, right?
No, 2,500.
Oh,
500 a unit. Yeah, 2,500. So his biggest bet of the month, Texas Rangers money line. It's funny. Joe Yurkovich says Rangers money line locked in for me because Moose Bunny said got on the Rangers last night, got priced out first 5 by the time they were released. Because I have watched John Gray pitching all year, and I'm telling you, his numbers are still pretty good over the last 5 starts, but he's laboring. All started in that Jays game. He's just late. It's just not coming as easy for him. I don't know if his numbers really even can help indicate that. Maybe it's just me watching him pitch because we all were eating off of the Gray Wolf earlier in the year because people didn't expect him to be this good. In saying that, I don't know if I can back Ronel Blanco, although it's what I wanted to do. So they gave him he's been pitching on 6 days rest now twice in a row because they gave him the extra day with the Jays series, and then they gave him the extra day again. So I guess it's only been 2 starts because he looked awesome against St. Louis. So yeah, it's been 2 starts. Against the Jays at home, he allowed 6 earned runs in 2 1/3. And look, so in the 3 starts before the Jays series, he had 28 strikeouts and 2 walks. So he had the bad start let's put a line through the Jays series. He only had 4 strikeouts and 2 walks against the Yankees. And that took 5 innings from him. He threw 5 innings, and that was just 82 pitches. But, he's throwing 138 pitches over his last 2 starts. They're giving him 6 days off. And, Moose Bunny says, I trust Bocce to manage Gray. Says Bocce manages pitchers better than anyone in the game. I get it. But he looked like he was laboring in New York, and they only gave him 5 innings. Now this Astros team is clicking on all cylinders offensively, even
Maddox
without
has
Yordan
these
Alvarez.
pitchers looking good, man. Sorry, I'm just on what Moose said. Maddox, he's a good pitching coach, man.
He is they're good brass there. Okay, so first off, roof will be closed. It's dumb hot. Second, we'll go into the line history here for this one. This total opened up at 9. Opened up at 9.5 at 9:30 p.m. yesterday. It lasted there for 30 minutes before it went to 9. So we have a move to the under, and it's juiced to the under at 9. So there we go. So a move to the under. Let's take a look at the money line here. And there's a big move to the Rangers. There was a big move to the Rangers last night. The first move, though, was, I guess there wasn't a move to the Rangers last night. I thought there was. I'll have to pull up because this didn't come up till 9:26 p.m. So I want to know where BetOnline opened this up, but they opened this up at -61. The early move comes on to Houston, and then now there's been a big move towards the Rangers. 9 cents of movement towards the Rangers. Let's see. So that's at 9:28 p.m. Let's just see when BetOnline opened this up at. They are sitting at -163. So they opened this up at 2:18 p.m. at -145 for the Rangers. So that's a big difference. That's 16 cents different opening price. But we're talking about BetOnline putting this out 7 hours before Pinnacle. So there's been 18 cents of movement to Texas, but since 9:49 p.m., there's been 8 cents. But we can all agree a legitimate move to Texas and a legitimate move to the under. So we'll go to the cash flow here. 62% of tickets and 81% of cash is on the Texas Rangers. 60% of tickets and 86% of cash. Now 60 and 88 just changed is on the under. So Ronel Blanco, what are we going to get from him? It's a fair question. He's thrown 35 innings this year, 37 strikeouts. He's got electric stuff, but 8 home runs allowed. His last start, I was really impressed with. At the Dodgers, he went 6 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, quality start, 6 Ks, 2 walks. On the road, he's struggled with the long ball, 5 home runs have got him over 16 innings. Then you have the Gray Wolf. At home, he's struggled in comparison to the road. He's been lights out on the road. At home, 3.79 ERA, 243 opponent's batting average. Still good numbers, but nothing like his road record. And then you have the Astros hitting righties 247, 759 OPS, while the Rangers are 266, 803. And both bullpens have struggled of late. Although, if it can get to Abreu and Presley in 8-9, we know game's probably over. It's the middle relievers that have sucked. Take it away for us here. An interesting one. We have over 4.5 Ks for Millsy, over 4.5 Ks for Blanco. Says bet you a lunch money. Take it away, Dabby. Astros, Rangers, huge game for the state of Texas.
Mike asked me, as a native, does this game make for a big deal? I mean, the Rangers haven't really. I mean, you got to go back to 2017, because they haven't been in the division together for that long. And the Rangers just haven't been competitive, only a couple times. So, yeah, it's exciting as hell. And I do know that all the games, the whole series is sold out. Everything is completely sold out. The stadium's going to be sold out. I know that for a fact. I was listening to something on it the other day. So, yeah, this makes for a big series. I think the Rangers want to beat the shit out of the Astros here, and the Astros are, struggling a bit. So I'll talk about this a little bit. You got Blanco on the mound. He's got 4 starts this season. 2 of them were quality starts out of those 4. 35 hits and 35 innings pitched. 4.63 ERA. His K rate is a 9.5. His WHIP is a 1.51, so a little higher than you like to see. In his last start, he went 6 innings and only allowed 2 hits and 3 runs, striking out 6. And that was a game that they eventually ended up losing anyways to the Dodgers 8-7. But he's done well. I look at this Rangers team, and I want to touch on what Jose said, because we go back and forth. He says he doesn't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I say, I think they do. And I'm not necessarily a fan of this team. I want to see them do good because they're local, but a fan is a stretch. I don't have any memorabilia or anything like that. I think that they're going to continue to win here. Even with their struggles of late in June, they still have a 14-11 record, and that includes that 3-game losing streak. That's important to be able to play through that. Baseball is there is very rarely where you're going to see a team just ride fucking high the whole season. And even those teams at some point are going to come low. So 14-11 is a low point for the Rangers, which in my opinion, it has felt like a low point this month. I think they're going to be all right. And I think they're going to keep playing ball this year. And I look at this game, I'm saying all that. It sounds like I'm going to be on the Rangers. I'm not. I have a bet in this game. It's not the Rangers. I'm going to be on the first 5 over here. It's a 5. That number was up to 5.5. Then it came back down to 5. I got it when it was at 5. I think it's still at 5. You even see a juiced 4.5 out some places. So it's gone up and down. One thing that I think is going to happen here is I think the Rangers are going to put up runs regardless. There might be a lot of pressure on John Gray, and I agree with you, Jimmy. I'm getting long-winded here, and I try not to do that too much. But I agree with what you were saying on Gray. This has been a career season for him. I don't know if it's Maddox. I don't know what it is that's gotten to him, but it's by far the best that he's ever pitched in his career. And I think he's pitching a little over what I think what I think of him and what I think he is. So if I see him giving up a few runs here, that doesn't surprise me. But like I said, I think the Rangers offense shows up regardless.
It was a great breakdown. I don't hesitate to wax poetic, especially when we're talking pitching, man. So don't hesitate. The first 5 over 5, the best line we can give you. I don't see any 4.5, so we'd have to pay for that, which we could look at. But
no.
Okay. The over 5 minus 107 at Bet Chris and Book.
Well, I tweeted it out at minus 110. So
then it's yours. Did you tweet out all your action?
Yeah, I did. And so the minus 110 is going to be a worse line, but that's what I'm actually on. So we might as well go with that.
Yeah, no, if you tweeted it out, let's do that. So here we go. Dabby Cab, his first action here on the card is the first 5 over 5 at -110. All right. Professor
Stadium's
Chris,
going to be
Chris,
rocking.
Professor Chris says gray season XFIP 4.39. He's not that good. Rod Zawacki loving the look.
Let's go, Rod.
I want to bet the Astros.
I could tell. I don't. I agree with what you're saying about Gray. I think he's pitching a little over what he's capable of. But that being said, Maddox has got these guys getting ground balls galore. Look at him and Dunning. Like a lot of these sinker ball pitchers, Maddox is working wonders with.
Great to see Rod Zawacki in the chat, my man. It just doesn't correlate. Gifted Cartel says in Blanco's 10 last 10 starts, Astros are 2-10. Look, he had a quality start against the Dodgers in 6 innings, and they ended up, he only allowed 3 earned runs, and they ended up losing 8-7. I mean, I don't, I don't care about wins and losses. So it just doesn't correlate, and I have to stay true to this. So I will stay off, but I want to fade Gray, and what I think though, and this would only really work if I was even higher volume than I am, because remember when I started doing this, you guys, when I first started publicly betting baseball, I'd have over 1,000 bets a year. Now when I need everything correlated, cut in half. Now it's 500 bets a year, and I would think that there's an advantage at this price with the Astros full game. And if I was betting a high amount of volume, I would do that.
Do you know what? So this, and I'll be quick with this, but you know why my volume's lower? It's not, I didn't do this shit by design. Like I didn't tell myself, oh, I'm going to have lower volume this year in baseball. I literally, for a point in time, I wanted to just slow down and really focus in on what I was doing with those bets. And I was winning. So I was like, what the fuck am I going to switch it if I'm winning right now? So I've just kind of stuck with it.
Joe Yerber says, I remember Jimmy Square ass parlays. Now that was before I started doing this publicly, but look, I had a bankroll of $100. So a day. So that was when I was a comic. I could only bet $100 a day. And so I put the parlays together. But yeah, no, I've come a long way, Joe. All right. Let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 45-35, 21-20 on the road at the Kansas City Royals. 23-58, 11-30 at home. We're at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. We have Bobby Miller going up against Alec Marsh. And by the way, DC Capper's on that over 9 in the Rangers game, full game over 9. I saw somebody else with you on that first 5 over. I thought I saw someone, but I don't have it here. Okay.
Rod said he's on Houston's money line, so he would have been with you there if you went on that.
Yeah, no, I get it. It just doesn't all it just doesn't correlate here. I can't do it. I gotta stay true to this. Jay Peasy says he saw a great pitch, a phenomenal 9 inning versus the Cards, and they still lost 1-0. Yeah, but I just see him laboring right now. But we'll move on. This is a tricky one with Bobby Miller going up against Alec Marsh. Shout out to our guy, Arthur Mead Jr., a now member of Pub Sports Radio for 3 months. Love my guy, Arthur. Arthur, Argos Lions, man. Big game here. Bobby Miller going up against Alec Marsh, making his major league debut here. And this is a middling prospect in Alec Marsh. But we do have the issue with the Dodgers leaving Coors Field. And that's not an easy thing to do. We had Sharpie come into our chat and warn us about this spot already. It's not Lyles here. Lyles is sick. Lyles has an illness, and he's not out there. So let's start with the weather in Kansas City. See how hot it is here today. It is 93 at first pitch. Feels like 95, 8.5 miles per hour in. It stays between 8.5 and 8.1, but it's hot. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks of this. They have Kauffman minus 18% home runs and plus 17% singles, minus 1% doubles and triples, so plus 6% overall here. So let's take a look at the line history then here with Miller against Marsh. We'll go over to Penny. We have the Royals opening up at minus excuse me, the Dodgers opening up at minus 200. They're now minus 212. This came out at 10:20 p.m. last night. So there's been 12 cents of movement to the LA Dodgers. And let's go over to the total. This total opened up. Oh, sorry, I got first 5 up here. Let me get to the full game. This total opened up at 9.5. And it opened at minus 105. It's now minus 103. So there's been 2 cents of movement to the over. 12 cents of movement to the Dodgers, 2 cents of movement to the over. You have 6% of the tickets and 40% of the cash on the Royals. Then you have 16% of the tickets and 53% of cash on the under. That's wild. 84% of tickets on the over. Line's not moving. Yes, this is Alec Marsh's Major League debut. But let's talk about Bobby Miller first. Bobby Miller is coming off a bad start. He's actually had 2 bad starts after looking so good when he first came up. On the road, he's only thrown 11 innings, and he's been lights out. 1 earned run, 12 Ks, 4 walks, 179 points batting average. It's at home that he's been scuffling. He won that game, that 8-7 win at home that we were just discussing, that Ronald Blanco pitched against him. And he didn't look good. 6 earned runs. It didn't look good. Here we have Alec Marsh, his 70th overall pick in the 2019 draft out of Arizona State. He's not highly thought of. Baseball America had him 11th in the organization top prospects. The Athletic and Keith Law had him 20th. He was horrific in 2022 at AA. 7.32 ERA over 25 starts, just was allowing home runs nonstop. This year in AA, he got the homers down. He's striking out 26.4% of opponents, but he's walking 11% of the batters he's faced. So then he went up to AAA and looked a little better. And that's why he's getting this opportunity. 4 earned runs over 15 innings. But very difficult pitcher to trust. Dodgers aren't destroying righties. 246, 719 OPS. Royals, 232, 662 OPS. Dodgers, 4.98 ERA in their bullpen since June 1st. Royals, 5.72. But this is a Dodgers team that was absolutely raking in Coors and now leaves Coors. That makes it tricky. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Dodgers, Royals.
Yeah, I mean, not to go too much over what you just said with Marsh, but, this is his debut, and he's not been good in the minors. This year he's had a 4.62 ERA, a 1.52 WHIP, with 62 and 1/3 innings pitched. In his 4 years in the minors combined, he's got a 5.72 ERA. I guess the Royals have been more competitive in recent games. It just depends on what you expect from the Dodgers here. I mean, I think they're in a groove, and they're probably looking – to continue to gain ground here on the Diamondbacks and the Giants at the top of the division. So they've won 6 of their last 8 games, where the Royals have, been the Royals. I don't know what else to say. And you look at Miller, he's allowed 0 or 1 run starting here in 4 of his starts. He struggled in his last 2. But this is an offense where if somebody's going to get a rebound start, it's the team to fucking do it against. So, yeah, I wouldn't back Marsh in his debut here. That's me. I would either stay away or find a way to, want to back the Dodgers.
I bet this under is so sharp if you have the balls to bet it. 16% of tickets, 53% of cash. We know the Dodgers are leaving Coors. Bobby Miller doesn't look good in his last 2 starts. Maybe the book's out on him already. I guess I'm going to have to stay off because I just don't have the balls. I do not have the balls to. Alec Marsh has a problem with home runs, and now he's going up against the Dodgers. But if you gave me a free bet, I would use that free bet on the under 9.5. But all right, Billy Fraser says, yeah, it seems odd KC would choose the Dodgers for Marsh to debut against. It does. I just think they don't care that much about him, honestly.
No,
okay. Yeah, they're just throwing him to the Wolves. But okay, let's we're gonna move on here. Let's move to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. We have the Detroit Tigers 35-45, 17-24 on the road. The Colorado Rockies 32-51, 19-22 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, in the thick of the summer. The ball is flying out of Coors right now. Let's take a look at the weather first. We have here we go. 60 Fahrenheit. Wow, much cooler than it's been. 60 Fahrenheit, 6.8 miles per hour in. Stays between 6.4 and 6.8. Cooler and wind blowing in, but still 10% plus 10% home runs, plus 23% doubles and triples, plus 6% singles, and plus 19% runs. Lorenzen going up against Austin Gomber. Let's take a look at the line history. We'll take a look at the money line first. We have over at Pinnacle, the Tigers opening up at minus 110. Right now they're minus 115. 5 cents of movement towards Lorenzen and the Tigers. 5 cents of movement on the side. And then on the total, we have this opening up at 12 and dropping. So this opened up at 12 at 5:38 p.m. yesterday. Lasted there for 2 hours before it went to 11.5. And then at 12:30 in the morning, it moved to 11. That's where it's been until 7 this morning when it went back to 11.5. Lasted there for a little while. It's at 11 right now. So we have a big move to the under, and we have a slight move to the Tigers. Let's go over to the cash flow here. We have 79% of tickets and 97% of cash on the Tigers, and a very small move towards them. We have 19% of tickets, 43% cash on the over. A line moving towards the under. Professor Chris says model says Tigers money line minus 147, run line plus 116. You bet them both. Wow. All this money on Lorenzen. Lorenzen 3.97 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. His last start at home versus the Twins was good. 5 innings, 2 earned runs. I'm high on Lorenzen. I thought that the signing, a lot of money, double did what he got, 11 mil or something for this year, showed that if you study him hard, this guy has an upside. And I've been saying that all year. On the road, he's been good. 29 and 2/3, 3.64 ERA, 23 Ks, 5 walks, 4 homers, 208 opponent's batting average. Austin Gomber has been horrific at Coors Field. 42 and a third, 8.72 ERA. He's allowed 12 home runs over the 42 and a third, and opponents are batting 337 off of him. And the Tigers are hitting lefties, 229, 752 OPS. Rockies versus righties, 252, 705 OPS. Tigers bullpen over 2 runs better than the Rockies bullpen over 9 innings since June 1st. Take it away for us here. Dabra, Cadabra, Tigers, Rockies.
I mean, really, one thing that you look at with Lorenzen, this month, he's got the 4.7 ERA, and Detroit's lost all 5 of his starts. He was sharp early on, but since then he hasn't been that great. But like you said, his metrics and a lot of things we expect more out of him. On the road he's been a little better. He's got a 3.64 ERA on the road here. This is just a tough game and series really to cap because I don't know what the hell Colorado's offense is going to give ever. You can look at Detroit and you can say you expect a few runs out of them. I might sound insane here, but I would maybe look under here, but I'm not betting a fucking under 11 at fucking Coors Field. Like, it's not going to happen, but that's probably where I'd look.
And our guy Joe saying that, I think it was Joe saying that this could be an all righty lineup. It's not the righties that have destroyed Gomber. That's what's so confusing. It's the lefties. Lefties have just them up like ridiculous. Lefty on lefty. Lefties are hitting 400 against them with a 1.229 OPS and 65 at-bats.
Yeah, the chat's loving on Gomber right now. Gomber is disgusting. Gomber is even worse than that. I think I saw some more love for him too up there. Yeah, he's not good. That's for sure. Which is why I'm not going to bet the under, even though I think that's probably where I'd look.
He's not good. And then you have to ask yourself, what's Lorenzen going to do from pitching in Detroit to having to face the thin air? Oh, shit, that's Gomber. I'd like to see what Lorenzen's doing here just quickly. I wanted to see if he has any past here. But, I mean, there's so much money on the Detroit Tigers, and I don't see the line moving. If I was on the Tigers, I'd be nervous. Now, if you're like Professor Chris and you have such an advantage in your model, then you simply have to bet it. But splits wise here, let's just see against, well, obviously he hasn't faced them this year. Let's go back to any other years. Has he ever pitched at Coors in 2022? No Coors. 2021 and 20 are the pandemic years. I don't even want to know. I guess we could check 2021, but we'll have to go back to 2019. Like, we have no This is a guy with no history whatsoever at Coors. You know what's going to happen to him? I look. Your guess is as good as mine. I can't. At Coors Field, he threw an inning and a third. So, look, I'm going to be off it. There's our guy Lamont Williams in the house. Joe,
we're not going to do it, but if you really wanted to figure out if you really wanted to figure out a prediction of how it's going to affect him being there, look at his ground ball versus fly out rate. Like how many if he's a ground ball pitcher, it's not going to affect him as much, basically.
And Londo says the market's heavily on the Tigers. I don't think so. I mean, this market is not moved to look at the we're all nervous about our Cubs action. Sure, I get it, but here the Cubs had where is it? The Cubs had 81% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on the Cubs. And what did the line move? What, 60 cents, 50 cents? For the Tigers, you have 79% of the tickets and 97% of the cash, and it moved 5 cents. So, I mean, if I had a free play, I would certainly be on the Rockies here. But that's all. I'm not going to move on it. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8:15 p.m. Eastern. New York Yankees 45-36, 20-17 on the road. At the St. Louis Cardinals 33-47, 15-24 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's talk about the weather here in St. Louis. 90 Fahrenheit, 12.3 miles per hour right to left, dies down to 7.8. Let's take a look at Ballpark Pal and see what their expectations are here of St. Louis. We have where's Busch? Sorry. Busch minus 2% homers, a minus 6% doubles and triples, minus 3% overall. Go over to the line history here for this one. This total opened up at 9.5 and actually opened up at 9. I didn't realize that. It opened up at 9 at 5:38 p.m. and lasted there for 20 minutes. I did not know that. Moved to 9.5, which is where it has stayed throughout. So it's a move to the over from 9 to 9.5. And from a money line perspective, we have Liberator and the Cardinals opening up at plus 101. They're now minus 106, 7 cents of movement to the St. Louis Cardinals. And then cash-wise, we have 61% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Yankees. A market moving towards the Cardinals. You have 60% of tickets and 96% of money on the under, and it's gone up to 9.5. This is wild. Danny DraftKings says Yankees on fire. Why? Because they beat up on the A's. Severino 1-2, 5.25 ERA, 1.50 WHIP, 8 home runs allowed. His last start, 6 innings, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks, 1-0 win at home versus Rangers. It looked really good, and obviously, Herman has probably inspired all of them. But he has struggled badly on the road this year. He's only thrown 18 in the third, so very small sample size, but 4 jacks and a 346 opponent's batting average. Liberator, I have Liberator. Okay, good. That's someone said Flaherty's. Oh, minus 130 tomorrow. Okay. Liberator, 5.60 ERA, 1.65 WHIP. He looked good to start the year, and now he looks bad. But the last start wasn't quite as bad as it looked. The 4 runs allowed, but 0 earned. At home, then he's only allowed 4 earned runs over 14 and third. 268 opponents batting average. He seems to pitch well at home. The Yankees are hitting lefties hard since June 1st, 248, 771. I know no Judge, but still they're hitting lefties hard. Cards versus righties, 251, 764 OPS. And at Mally Mal says Yankees are the pick as a gift. Well, yes, I mean, that's what all of the public thinks, but this market is moving towards the Cardinals, which makes me want to bet the Cardinals. Look, I know they've been atrocious lately, and no one can trust their bullpen, but take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Yankees, Cardinals.
I like Danny DraftKings. Shout out to him. He said, maybe I'm getting carried away with Yankees. Appreciate that. Always real to be able to check yourself. That's funny as fuck.
I like that. Respect Danny DraftKings. Respect, man.
Yeah. I guess if you look at this, Cardinals kind of look like the more dangerous 103 runs created plus versus lefties and 68 runs created plus versus righties in the last couple weeks. And then you look at that same time span, Cardinals 120 runs created plus versus righties, 112 runs created plus versus lefties. I really don't trust either of these starting pitchers. And I'm going to tell you what, you telling me that all the money is on the under and the line's moving up, that makes me like the over even more here. I would probably go first 5 over if I was going to bet this, because like I said, I don't trust either of these two pitchers. Both of these guys I look at and I expect them to give up a handful of runs like throughout their start, and either of them could get blistered at any point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Severino coming off a really nice performance against the Rangers, but that was at home. I wonder if Domingo Germán will inspire him to pitch very well here. My bookie has moved the first 5 on the Cardinals to minus 116. And I know the guy who runs that sports book, and he's really sharp. When Bet Chris, which runs in tandem with Bookmaker, opened this line up at 8:07 a.m., it was minus 111, an 8-cent move immediately to the Cardinals. Justin McElvee's on the 9.5. Professor Chris says the Yanks money line minus 128, run line plus 125, got both minus 105 and plus 145. So I'm willing to get in the way of this. This is one where a lot of these ones I've said, okay, I get, look, this could be a sharp side or whatever, but this is just too much here. This is just way, way too much. Obviously, the anonymous gambler, he runs that book at my bookie. Obviously, he puts St. Louis first 5 at minus 116, knowing he's going to get all Yankee action. I know him, and he, so he's giving out the very best line on the New York Yankees first 5. He is actively trying to beat us, and he is doing it. Then let's take a look at what Bet Online has done with this one. This has not moved from the minus 110 line. It's not moved. Mally Mal says, give me... So every single person here is on the Yankees. Every single person here saying, how could anyone bet St. Louis? This line's not moving towards the Yankees, and 93% of cash is on the Yankees. So, okay. I'm going to be on the Cardinals first 5 here. And let's go to town. All right.
That's
By the way,
side I would go with.
Yeah. Oh, just Roger Rocky on the Royals plus 1.5, plus 110. But what were you saying?
I was going to say that's the side I'd go with here. I'm not betting it, but I'd be with you. I know it's going against pretty much everyone, but I think I'd go Cardinals here. I just don't think either of these starters are people that I trust, and offensively, I give the edge to the Cardinals.
When you have cappers like, Professor Chris or Rob Crawford, and they have their models that they trust, heavy, and then they have a big difference in price than what their model's saying, then yes, I guess you have to move on that every single time. You probably can't pick and choose when you move on it, because then, it hurts you. And Value Capper says SBR forum littered with posters that are being stiffed by my bookie. I've never heard of anyone being stiffed, but I've certainly he certainly kicks out winners. So I don't like hearing that. Stiff. If that was the case, I mean, look, they're in Costa Rica. They're down the street from SBR. So you would, let's not get into all that stuff. Okay. Lamont Williams' max bet is in. If anybody gets stiffed in cash and can prove it to me, I'm friends with the people who run that book, and we'll send it right to them, and we'll ensure they get paid immediately. How about that? I'll put that out there. If one person gets stiffed and can show me that they're being stiffed, I will go right to them and make sure that they get paid. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, you might get kicked out of the book because they're actively trying to beat you. We know how it works. Arizona Diamondbacks 48-34, 24-14 on the road. At Los Angeles Angels 44-39, 22-18 at home. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. I have this thing about pitchers who deal with injuries and come back. And it's even more for me when they come back after non-Tommy John stuff or a second Tommy John. Like, that's when I'm like, oh my God. Griffin Canning with the stress fracture in his back was gone for 20 months. 20 months. And that made me cheer for him. I want him to succeed so badly, and it gets in the way sort of me capping him. And that last start in Colorado, 0 earned runs. Griffin Canning is pitching very, very well right now. But I don't want the fact that I want him to succeed so bad kind of mess with us gambling. So I just want to say that out loud so everybody knows that. 71 Fahrenheit, 10.2 miles per hour out to center. It drops down to 8.8 miles per hour. Let's pull up the Ballpark Pal and see what they think of the Angel Stadium here. Plus 4% home runs, minus 8% doubles and triples, 0% even overall. Let's pull up the line history here. We have, that's first 5. I'm sorry, let me quickly go to full game. We have here with Canning, we have this, Pinnacle. We have this opening up at minus 136 and a huge move towards the Angels. Now minus 153. Got all the way up to minus 162 at 9:45 and a little bit of buyback. So a big move towards the Angels. And for the total, we have it opening up looks like moving towards the over. This opened up at 9.5. This dropped to 9 at 8:09 a.m. Back up to 9.5. So at this point, we have 12-cent move to the over, but it did drop to 9 at one point, which is confusing. And then we'll go over to the cash flow here for Diamondbacks, Angels. 49% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the Angels. And from a total standpoint, 47% of tickets and 68% cash on the under. Obviously, it was respected at some point when they moved it down to 9, but it's back at 9.5. You have Tommy Henry on the bump for the Diamondbacks. He's also coming off a very nice start on the road at Washington, 6 2/3, 1 earned run. He's a 4.31 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. He's battling for a secured spot in the rotation, and looks like he's winning it. Griffin Canning's not been very good at home. I don't know why. It's only 25 2/3 inning sample size. 235 opponent's batting average and 26 Ks and 6 walks, but 4.56 ERA. The Diamondbacks are raking righties, 273, 808, and the Angels aren't hitting lefties hard. So take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Diamondbacks, Angels.
Yeah, like you said, Canning has been, at home, and lately he's been, at home it's been a little worse, but lately he's been terrific. 4-0 in his last 4 starts with a 2.25 ERA. That's 36 innings of work. He got 36 innings of work. Why the fuck can I say that? That he's gone through to get that. Last Saturday he did good. He had 7 strikeouts across 6 scoreless innings, and that was when they had the 25-1 beatdown in Colorado. I think this is going to be an exciting series here. Both of these teams are, 2 of the better teams this year. Both of them are making a run for their divisions. But both teams have been hit or miss the past 2 weeks, which is hard to get a handle on. I'd probably look Angels here, but I really think we're going to see runs in this game both ways. The Angels, like you said, they've struggled on the season against lefties. They've been absolutely terrific against right-handed pitchers of late here in just the last couple weeks. But yeah, I'd probably look Angels here if I was on a side, maybe first 5 over.
It's pretty easy. Like when I see a market like this with sharps on the Angels, a big move to the Angels, Guillermo says, don't forget to shout out Cheech in the World Series of Poker. You're right. I've been following his exploits, and I hope you guys all do too. Our guy Cheech Marina's in the World Series of Poker. He's in a big tourney today. I was in a big one yesterday and just bounced just around the bubble. But I love him. Man. Great call, G. Thank you for mentioning that. By the way, Sean Calmer in the house says, what up, fam? Jokic to win Wimbledon minus 139, 5-unit play for him. Interesting. Okay, let me put that here. Sammy, thank you for sharing that. The Joker to win Wimbledon. Okay. By the way, Rocco just watched Severino earned run average over 2.5, minus 155, get moved to 3.5 at plus 120 in front of his eyes. Was saying all this, let me just pull it up again. Let me just make sure that I know exactly what's happening here. The Angels have 49% of tickets, 74% of cash, and that's moved 15 cents. I'm going to be on the Angels on the -1 line here with Griffin Canning. Okay, I'm locked in. Angels for me. Let's move on. We have 2 games left on today's card. 2 games left on today's card before we put a bow on this. And then I pick up Ella, who is a kindergarten graduate today. She graduates kindergarten. I'm excited to pick her up. We got a big celebration tonight as she is a kindergarten graduate. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Chicago White Sox 36-47, 16-27 on the road at the Oakland A's, 21-62, 10-31 at home. We're at Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. Let's take a look at the weather in Oakland. 71 Fahrenheit, 8.7 miles per hour out to right field. Goes from 8.7 to 7.6, always out to right field. Let's pull up Ballpark Pal and see what they think of Oakland Coliseum today. We have minus 11% home runs and minus 8% runs. Thank you guys. Means a ton to me. Thank you for the kind words about Ella Ola. It means a ton to me. Thank you. Let's pull up the line history here for this one. And we have no line history. I thought is this not even out of, it's crazy. Is this not even out of, but it's not out anywhere. So clearly Cease is not pitching. That's the pitch. Okay, so this is what I thought was going to happen here. And let me just see if RotoWire can back it up. So at least we have done our due diligence before we move on. Okay, so RotoWire has Tanner Banks pitching, and I think that Tanner Banks will pitch. Okay, I really, but obviously maybe I don't know. Rocco says Tanner Banks expected. So Tanner Banks is a 31-year-old journeyman who's kind of earned this opportunity. He's pitched in 8 games. He's actually started 2. He started a 4-1 win at home versus the Red Sox, but he only lasted 2 2/3. I watched Medina in person. He's atrocious. He had 7 walks. He's scared up there. Now he's being slightly, I can't even say he's being better. At home in 22 innings, he's allowed 15 earned runs. Billy Friedrich says Sox bats have come alive in back-to-back games and the short trip from Anaheim to Oaktown. And listen, like, the White Sox are in this division race. That's how horrific this division is. If you were to bet the White Sox right now to win the division, I already have a bet on them at a big number, but it's bigger now. But I would respect it, Look, steal outs over 17.5 now minus 155. I love it. Joe Yurkovich got in minus 125. So I think that Luis Medina is vulnerable. I want Tanner Banks to pitch because the A's since June 1st are hitting 149 with a 492 OPS against lefties. I mean, that's just abysmal. And the White Sox are starting to rake. What's the price going to be though? We don't want to spend too much on this, but I have interest in backing Tanner Banks if it's Tanner Banks. Billy Friedrich says worst record ever win a division 82-80. AL Central may break the record this season. White Sox have the weakest strength of schedule the rest of the way. Lamont, how did I miss your? Could somebody point out what Lamont's action is? I somehow have missed it, and I want to know it badly. He always gives us his max bet. Take it away for us here. I know it's tricky, not a lot of info, but White Sox, A's, and you don't need to talk long if it's just a pass. No pressure.
Well, for minimum info, I'd say this. There's 2 reasons why I'd go with the White Sox. They have a better bullpen, and their offense has, been a little bit better recently. And the A's are last in baseball in runs per game this season. They're only averaging 3.5 runs per game. I'm not saying the White Sox are much better, but lately they've been better. So I'll leave it really short at that. I'd back the White Sox for the bullpen and the fact that I give the offense edge to them too.
How much would we be willing to pay? Because the White Sox know they sweep this. What are they going to be? 3.5 games, 4 games back?
I know, that's crazy to think about.
So they know that. And if they get hot, I just want the Twins to lose so bad. Okay, there you go. That is a White Sox A's. LJ says if White Sox are favorite, take the over 6-1-1 on the season. And 10-star play Seattle money line. He's also on the under in Ottawa's game tonight, so we're going heads up on that one, Rod. But I've only seen unders being bet, so it is what it is. 10-star play is Seattle money line from Rod Zawacki. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk about the final game on the board, and it's a fun one. So then, Dabby, do you have 2 bets on this game then?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm going against 2 people who I don't necessarily like to go against, but it is what it is.
Let's roll. 10:10 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 56-28, 22-18 on the road at Seattle Mariners, 38-41, 22-19 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, a spectacular baseball stadium I miss very, very much. Let's talk about the weather here in Seattle. 66 Fahrenheit, 8.2 miles per hour out to left field, and then it becomes out to left field and then straight in. So I guess the weather is changing about an hour into the game. Lamont, I'm going to take the Angels -1 full game. Let's go over to, and this is an addition. I wasn't planning on doing it. I was just wanted to talk it out because I knew that I have a bias towards Griffin Canning, but I talked it out. Sharps are on it. I'm comfortable doing it. Let's go to the line. Oh, wait, what did Ballpark Pal? Did I just do that? No, I didn't do that. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks here about, what the hell is it? Here we go. About T-Mobile, 0% homers, -13%, doubles and triples, -8% overall. I'd already looked at that. I don't know why I had to do that again. I've moved on this game. I'm on the first 3 under 2.5 and the first 5 under 4. And it cost money to do this. I forget. I don't have it up here. I think it was -135 on the first 3 under 2.5, and it was -105 on the first 5 under 4. Right now, the first 5 under 4 is still at that -105, and the first 3 under 2.5 is right back where it was at -135. I say that because it did get to -140. Rod Zawacki says he doesn't trust Jared Daigie. And Ottawa 5 sacks tonight. Yeah, I hope one's a strip sack. Goes the other way. McClanahan, 11-1, 2.23 ERA, 1.12. And I get it. Both quarterbacks look good in garbage time, and it means nothing to me. And the over 42.5 is probably my weakest spot. The Elks +3.5 and Elks team total over 17.5. I like the best. But Elks have been sacked nonstop. Now, if the Elks can just get at that secondary of the Redblacks, it's atrocious. But I hear you. No, I hear you, Rod, and I do not want to be going up against you. McClanahan going up against Bryce Miller. Let's take a look at this line history. I don't like that it went to -140 and back to -135. I don't like that at all. Let's start with the money line here. We have Penny opening this up at -130 for the Rays. This got up to -135 after 13 or 14 hours. And there's been big buyback on the Mariners. Got down to -121. So at this point, 7 cents of movement to the Mariners. From a total perspective here, we have, move this over here. From a total perspective, this opened up at 7.5. And there was movement last night. There was, for me, enough 7 cents of movement. So it immediately started going to the under, -113 after an hour and a bit, a -114 after another 20 minutes, -118. So it'd been at that point for 4 hours. Got up to -120 at 7:44 this morning. There's been buyback here. Makes me a little nervous. It's gone each way, but right now there's been no movement on the total. So we have no movement on the total. Oh, we got the max bet in from Lamont. Washington, Philly over 9.5. Yeah, let's get this. Thank you, Lamont. And then go to the cash flow here. Our cash flow in this spot, the final one on the board, we have 91% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Rays. That just moved from 90 to 95 and 7 cents of movement to the Mariners. Now, I wonder if people are taking this back injury too far, because I'm going to talk about that, and I'm sure that Cab will too. Then you have 28% of tickets and 59% of cash on the under. I like those numbers. Looking at 90 and 95 in the market moving to Seattle makes me want to move to Seattle. But yeah, Bet 365's been like that the whole time, Rocco, with the over minus 115, the over slightly juiced and the under not. So let's talk about McClanahan, who, front runner to win the Cy, 11-1, 2.23 ERA, 1.12 whip. On June 22nd, in that 6-5 loss at home to the Royals, he left in the fourth inning with mid-back tightness. But he threw a bullpen session, and they're very comfortable with where he's at. And Dabby can talk about mid-back tightness. I mean, it just comes and goes sometimes. So I'd like you to touch on that. The fact that he hasn't pitched since June 22nd, so it's been 8 days, I'm very comfortable with. The Rays know what they have in McClanahan. There's no way they would risk anything.
That's what I would have said right there. You just said it. There is no fucking way, especially with the break coming up. There is no way. There's no way.
They have no competition in the division. I hope the Orioles give it to them, but they don't right now. So, and on the road, he's been very good. 2.58 ERA. He walks a lot more batters on the road, for whatever reason. Way more. I mean, 44 strikeouts, 23 walks. It's a strange number for him. But Bryce Miller here. Bryce Miller did not look good in his last start. He only made it through 4 1/3. It was at Baltimore. At home, he's got a 3.03 ERA. He's allowed 3 homers over 29 2/3, and he's got a 189 opponent's batting average. I think Bryce Miller shoves here. I think Bryce Miller knows he's pitching against a phenomenal pitcher in McClanahan, and I think he shoves. The Rays are hitting righties 265, 762. The Mariners are raking lefties. We talked about it this week. I didn't realize it had been happening. 296, 774 OP. No power, but 296 average is impressive. Rays bullpen 2.48 ERA. Mariners bullpen 4.27 ERA. I think the Mariners bullpen is vulnerable enough right now for me not to make this a full game look. So I only moved on the first 3 and the first 5. Take it away, Dabby. Our last game on the board, Rays Mariners.
So I'll just get the bets out of the way early. I'm against you. I got a 3.5 on the total in the first 5. I paid a bunch of juice for both of my bets on this game. I paid minus 125 for the over 3.5 in the first 5. And then I also took the Rays in the first 5, minus 125. And if I'm being honest, which I think you can get a better line now, but if I'm being honest, man, I think that my second bet, the over, was kind of almost a hedge to if I'm worried about how McClanahan starts here. And we talk about Miller here. He bounced back from a couple poor starts. I guess it was a little bit better start because against the Yankees, he gave up the 7 runs on 8 hits. And then against it was 8 runs on 11 hits against the Yankees, excuse me. And then 7 runs and 8 hits versus the Rangers. He had solid outings against the Marlins where he gave up the 1 run and the 1 hit, the White Sox, 1 run, 4 hits. And then, against the Orioles, 3 runs, 6 hits. And he was lights out in his first few starts. All that being said, this Rays team is, they're the best team in baseball right now, in my opinion. They're the best team in baseball with their best starter on the mound. That's what it is. I questioned it with Darvish on the mound against the Padres, and I didn't want to go against Darvish, so I stayed off. I know you and Jose were on Darvish that game, and it almost got me on Darvish, if I'm being honest. But initially, when I looked at that, I said the same thing I said here. It's the fucking best pitcher for the best team in baseball at a money line price. Like, it's either a trap or you got to take it. And I laid off last time. This time, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the Rays in the first 5 on the money line, and I'm taking the first 5 over 3.5.
Look, everything that you said, I can comfortably agree with. But 95% of cash on the Rays and the market moving towards the Mariners would make me nervous, make me uncomfortable.
Oh, I am more than nervous on it. And like I said, I think that if we think that the Mariners are going to get to McClanahan, I still think I'll get a couple runs out of the Rays at least. So like I said, that over bet might almost be a hedge for my Rays bet. I know it's not a hedge. It's not the right term, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I have the balls to take the Angels against the Diamondbacks at home. I don't know if I have the balls to fade McClanahan again. But I expect Bryce Miller from Mount Pleasant, Texas. By the way, Cab. I expect
A&M grad.
I expect Bryce Miller to shove. His last 2 home starts, 13 innings and 2 earned runs against the Marlins and the White Sox. 12 strikeouts, 3 walks. Now, the 2 starts before that, he got lit up and smoked. He got lit up at Texas. Probably had all his friends and family in there. So I'm not going to fade the Rays here. But if I had bigger balls, I would. Equanimus on Rays first 5 run line here. So, Mally Mal wanting to find the Grand Salami. I sorry I wasn't looking at it more, but it should be here. But I'm not. You're right. I haven't been able to find a Grand Salami for some reason. Interesting. I don't know why that is the case. No, not finding it here. That is our show for today. I'm going to put Mariners here with question marks. I'm not going to move on it after the show, but I want to keep an eye on this market. And if they're just opening up their arms here. Oh, that's why. Billy Friedrich says because no White Sox A's. Good call, Billy. AOD has a question, Dabby. Who's the toughest batter you've ever faced? Because we already heard of him going heads up with Kershaw in the start. Who is the toughest hitter you have ever faced, Dabby?
Like, that is such a tough question to just pull out. I've went against so many really good hitters, man. I'll come back with that. I got to think. Okay. I just don't want to throw something out there. I want to make sure I give the right answer. I have to think on that. I've faced so many good hitters. I struggle with lefties a little bit, so it's going to be a left-handed hitter. I know that.
Let's review all action. In CFL, I'm on the Elks plus 3.5. The Elks team total over 17.5, and the Edmonton Ottawa over 42.5. We already heard Rod Zwacky on the under, and I've only heard people on the under. Also, let me put that out there. I've not seen one person on the over, on the full game over in Edmonton Ottawa, and that was the same thing with our Winnipeg game when I was on the under and everybody was on the over. We'll see how it bangs out. And that Elks team total over 17.5 is now at 20.5. So we nailed that. I am adding tonight or today, but it's not till Saturday the game. The Alouettes plus 6 and the Blue Bombers team total under. Then we're going to be able to live bet the Lions Argos game, but I just want more time with it. Because the Lions just keeps moving towards Lions. And are we going to get a 4? If we get a 4, I'm on the Argos. Then we have action for the game that pops off in 15 minutes. Our guy Spenny Pennybombs gave us Christopher Morel home run plus 360 and the RBI. So there we go. Moose money says full game and first 5. I think he's on the under, but all I see is Cleveland, Chicago, full game, first 5. I think he's on, I don't know. I can't talk about that now. But I know that Troy Torrance's all over the Cubs, as I am. I'm on the Cubs first 5 minus half, minus 120, and full game minus 1 and minus 126. Then in Padres Reds, Spenny Pennybombs gave us Juan Soto home run at plus 330, RBI plus 140. Tatis home run plus 310, RBI plus 110. Spencer Steer home run at plus 550, RBI plus 185. And Ellie De La Cruz stolen base plus 280 and RBI plus 150. Vitalis is on the under 9.5 in Nats Phillies. And he's going heads up with Lamont Williams, who's on the over 9.5 in Nats Phillies. I'm off of that one. Then Millsy gave us Pablo Lopez over 6.5 Ks. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today on the Orioles. Taint play today on the Orioles. And I'm on the Orioles first 5 full game. Ribeye play today. William Contreras plus 170 in Brewers Pirates. I'm off that one. Jose's on the first 5 under 5 in Red Sox. Jays stacks play today's Bo Bichette over 1.5 bases. Giants, Mets, we are off. Marlins, Braves, off. Dabby Cab gets his card started with the first 5 over 5 in Astros, Rangers. Rod Zwacky gave us the Astros. I wish I could bet the Astros. And I'm going to put it here with question marks. So I'll just spend the day thinking about it. And I don't want to go up against BJ. His biggest bet of the day is Texas Rangers moneyline minus 158. He's had 4-unit bets the last 2 days in a row and cashed them both. Then nothing for the Dodgers game, nothing for Tigers Rockies. I'm adding Cardinals first 5, and I'm adding Angels minus 1. Those are influenced by the market. White Sox A's, no action. I wish I had the balls to bet the Mariners. I'm already on the first 3 under 2.5 and the first 5 under 4. Cabby's going heads up with me. He's on the first 5 over 3.5. That was minus 125 it cost you?
Yeah.
And then the Rays first 5 at minus 125. And that is our show for today. I got to run to Ella's school now and celebrate her graduating. I got to get my bets in immediately. So we're going to put a bow on this show. Billy Friedrich, AOD, Trans Canada, Lamont Williams, Mali Mal, UPK Ayash Yala, Equanimus, Rocco Rogers, Mike M, Troy Torrance, AOD. What a great group. Rod Zawacki, Professor Chris, Graham, Professor Chris in the chat today, hearing his action. North Ender. Great group. Alfred, 44. Thank you guys so much. LJ from H-Town. Joe Yurkovich. Ken Mizrahi. Tori Coker. King Al. Wine Time Sports. Thank you guys. Guillermo Zertucci. Sammy Calmer. Sammy Calmer giving Djokovic to win Wimbledon. All you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have nothing without you. Londo. Burn One. Lucky Lefty. Great having you in action. Thank you. Trans Canada. Jose, why don't you join us here for our goodbye? Jose, you have Connor Mack today on Say Hey Plays of the Day. Get that cash. We believe in you. Any final words for you before Dabby puts a bow on this?
Fuck. I hope we win today.
Okay. I hear you. There's a lot on the line, man. Fucking a lot on the line. Dabra Kadabra, could you please bless our action? Give us our final words. Thank you, Billy. I will. It's a big celebration here. Can you please bless our action and then leche us into the future?
I got you, man. Say this again. If you can come to the fucking game, come to the games. I want to get to hang out with you guys in the chat more often because you guys in the chat are where it's fucking at. You make this shit pop, so we appreciate you guys. We love you guys.
Free weed too.
Jose's a mooch, okay? So that's what he's trying to say right there. Jose's a mooch, but no. We love you guys. I want to see more of you guys. Let's win our fucking bets today. Let's make some motherfucking money. And Leche loves motherfucking bookmaker.